Everyone loves to try to go ahead with the untruths, but everyone loves to see the one true 1, 2, 3.
Well, it is going to be hot drop right off of the rift, and it is going to be Fist Blades coming on out. As we can see, Xiaoyu unfortunately just not getting the opportunity, kept being knocked into that stagger with the greatsword coming on out, and as a result is going to go down. AS managing to pick up a lot of these kills very, very quickly, turning it into a numbers advantage, getting to lock down these players with those daggers. Hengsword making it even harder for Padatu to be able to do anything, and that is going to be incredibly clean, incredibly quickly, and also not helped out by any of these ultimates, as we are going to now head on over to Artisans. You can see all of these players scrapping over these spaces. RID unfortunately going to be losing 3 players very, very quickly, as we now move on over and get to see BWG's team just after finishing cleanup onto WDDH. All of these teams prioritizing very sought after locations. Eventide Temple very, very good for the loot, especially on the top of that statue. Shipwreck also prioritized for its loot halving, as it is going to be new big coming on in with those fist blades, trying to set into motion the charged RMB, cleaving out all of the players. There's the F3, catching onto one, sending them just wheeling out of the fight, looking for that isolation, managing to find the kill before the monk can go for the ultimate to transform and zone everybody away. Now we're going to get to see the scale rush coming on through and starting to really mince their health down, utilizing those jump horizontals off of the fist blades as well to keep yourself above the monk's forehead so that he cannot grab you out of this size movement. Really, really clean, just not allowing for the double grab opportunity, and that is going to be LYM dispatched and dealt with.
3 eliminations given to New Squad. You know, they're taking these ones going off. You know, luckily we didn't see an investment for the Zai Ultimate as we didn't go through it. But we are going to see with ADOD, aka Dodo Monster. I know someone Sincella has heard him like Doodoo Monster. I was like, whoa, wrong name. But we got it. We got it right. It's Dodo, ADOD. Going in here with a PF with Numza and Hendrix. They're into Servant's Grounds right now, eliminating a good portion of their ultimates, it looks like, with Hendrix having the only one left to go, having elimination on the board. But with this fight happening here, New Squad's going to be looking to go ahead and get caught by the slash, and that's Justina coming in from AS as Young, and that's going to be coming with that fan. They got a Moonbane on standby, just in case after the Moonbane that's already being casted to fight this Tianhai out, they find it. But we're going to see a parry coming to the back line here. Dash does not confer for a freeze. It's going to be an F2 from the Atari for the thrust. Coming off of this end, a huge attack chain could come out here from one freeze necessary to confirm it, but getting caught by a 1-2. There it is. Confirmed freeze against BB Love. BB Love are going to be going ahead and backing off. Of course, R&B's into the corner. We're going to see a lot of freezes occur into this corner line where they see one freeze and they're going to have to back up. But guess what? Moonbane, baby. Got to have a good chance of turning this fight into a 180 strat. Now, Shui Leo is going to be going ahead, not having ultimate. He's losing a lot of HP. A parry from the fist blades. Song Yi going to go ahead and just trying to go ahead and getting an R&B. There it is. Toes to the face. You see it coming through to the nose. There's going to be New Big getting a good look at whether or not the Tumultuous is going to land. It's not. But this is going to be where the grapple cancel comes into play. Going to go for the stagger F3 to get themselves out of there. And this is going to be within the face of the Moonbane and getting caught by the elimination factor. 7 eliminations for AS so far.
That is the beauty of the timing attack. AS not opting for the direct hot drop, allowing them to conserve their ultimates as well as pick up enough money to be able to buy that Moonbane and take an isolated fight in Shipwreck. Potentially third parties. We are going to see another transform coming through. This time it's going to be from Yogurt's ready to find one grab. Doesn't look for the delve, instead looks for the slam before the Tessa can slip out of the way and just continues to put pressure with those grabs. You can avoid the monk grab, yes, but you can't avoid the teammate as a result. This team doing a very good job of layering each and every single one of those pressure points. It's now heading back over to Shipwreck. We are going to see AS this time sans that Moonbane coming on through charged R&B again from these fist blades, looking for these connections off of the Wisp CC. Sangyu doing a very good job setting up, putting himself onto Cliff, getting one armor restore off before he goes back in with the shadow step, setting up into the charged R&B. Another grab has now been able to be found on their Monk's transformation, and as a result, Casper is forced into utilizing that kite, flies away with that combo break to isolate a little bit further away, gets chased down with the fist blades coming on through, charges up before cancelling, and as a result allows Sang Yu to continue putting the pressure. Casper goes for the Scarish, looks to try and move away from the fight, hits the vertical just so he can land a little bit faster and set up another Scarish and keep himself off of the floor for as long as possible. The movement incredibly clean, allowing for his Farrier to come through with that mech, providing the distraction necessary for him to escape. And this could potentially be the turnaround. Kishi trying to set up the charge verticals on this longsword, going to unfortunately be put into a numbers disadvantage, 1 versus 3, and there's nothing he's going to be able to do against that one.
Yeah, it was a tough position. You can see Kishi went towards into the Fairy Shen Beacon. Justina had a free freeze guaranteed, 1.6 seconds. That's all that's needed to get a quick blue focus release from the deforming the mech. The other WDDH, though, we see Plan B by himself, DCRKK and Cat, both getting caught to the elimination by Emo, fans out, and now it's BWG in their fights. It looks like Tryhard is looking for the grabs in TN High Ultimate. Party number 2 with PF coming through against the Temi Ultimate. Look at the utilization of the spacing right here. APF is going to be using this Temi circle to try to divide the 2 teams away from the 2 sets of players here. And as you can see, the grouping up between Numza as well as the ADOT is going to be coming out. The Kurumi circle to counteract the Kurumi circle, but the armor region is working in the favor. And the fact of the matter that BWG take these fights, and with 5 eliminations still so far, they're going to be looking for their 6. And catching that gold lead, that's going to put them right before Rami Yang number 1.
Yeah, I mean, when Transformers comes back into the meta, there's one player that you have to watch out for in the lobby, and that is going to be Tryhard. He's going to be incredibly happy he can break the TN High out. As McFlurry is going to be incredibly happy that they were able to find that parry. That's going to be Lanzi's potato now dispatched and allowing some of these teams to start to recover, but we do still see some of these players go down. Tessa ultimate manages to connect onto the Kurumi, and or rather the Matari, and we're going to see the Scarish come through to make sure to reposition before the 3-second enchantment window allows you to have your doom sealed. Unfortunately, it's not far enough that XGN is able to reposition. King Combat will be able to hunt them down. And now this is very interesting because we're seeing a lot of these fights still going through. Specifically, we're seeing ultimates still being utilized, served, but Realm of Yang is spawning on up. Are these players going to have enough rage sustain to actually take the fight 3v3 inside the portals, or are we just going to see everyone keep fighting on the outside?
It's all about utilization of who's going to be using ult versus what, but yeah, like you said, everyone's spamming ultimates here, and I think King actually gets caught by that grab, eliminated as a result. The Soul Bloom now goes towards you. Yu's going to get that armor swap as well. Depending on the comp that comes through, right, we have to understand that some comps don't succeed in Realm Yang as much as often as others, but also to the fact scenarios that Spirit Wells, which replace now the Morris Blessings, can grant you the buff instead. Some team comps, such as the Viper Witch and Tessa, which we may see here today, come through, and they allow for an opportunity for more so outside Realm Yang fights rather than inside. Now, we do have to note that considering that Tianhai is a strong Realm Yang fighter, he takes both sides. Like, you can go inside Realm Yang primarily, but with Justina's, Temmie's, and this comp specifically, the amount of times that you can get a double grab can be immense, especially coming through from the control that a Temmie can continue to do with throwing wisps at enemies that are dropped down here from a Tianhai grab to guarantee another freeze afterwards in midair for Tianhai to have an easy grab to be accessible. But regardless, Realm Yang spawns in here. Our fight's going to be kind of more congested. I think BWG might want to take one fight into Realm Yang, and then obviously into the next part, we could see AS taking their fight. They are running into that with the Justina, with the comp. It looks like 2 teams have already entered. I'm curious to see. It's going to be QNT up against EMO.
Yeah, well, that is going to be an arrow mech composition coming on from QNT. Can't quite see what EMO are going to be running as Casper on the Hardy goes aerial to get those bow shots and start chipping away at the armor. And that's actually already the Farrier mech coming on through to provide the distraction long enough for that reset of the armor. Catches with the cannon. Casper not going to be able to find the isolated target that he was looking for as QNT now dropped their Farrier mech to be able to go head-to-head and look for the stagger connections of those neutral shots. Casper not managing to find the fist blade charge-up that he wants, going to be utilizing that F1 to scare rush onto the pillar into the sky to activate that ultimate. Charges up the triple strike, tries to put pressure around that Farrier, does manage to get caught out, however, by the Hardy on the other end, and Casper's taking a lot of pressure currently, has to utilize so much of his ultimate just to go behind the pillar and heal, but he gets chased down. EMO's Vegan finds the better Hardy ultimate, finds all of the pressure necessary. Casper not able to create the opening that his team was looking for, and as a result, it's now going to be a 2 versus 3. QNT Koala now going to be coming under a lot of fire. That Yushan ultimate not going to be able to keep him up alive anymore as long as the team were looking for. Out of the Farrier mech too, This is just going to be a matter of cleanup. One goes for the light, one goes for the focus, one flashes the parry to make sure that there is absolutely no answer that QNT can provide. An EMO looking incredibly clean in the mirror matchup.
You know, we got to keep in mind about with Hadi is that, you know, teleporters always have its opportunity to arise as the more fundamental trios, you know, skill to come through. But if you sneaky choose a different skill and then they ain't expecting it, there's nothing you can really do. Now, the other thing too, burn. Right? Understanding how V2 works with that burn, man, that reduces the amount of healing, and Wei-Shans are not going to have a fun time too. Why? Hadi staggers that Wei-Shan. In the case scenario that he locks him down to the full level 3 swing, there's enough chances for the teammates looking for range blue focuses, things of the nature like a fan, or even looking for a quick melee focus like a blue focus for the RMB for the full sword, spear, small 1.0s, even the fist blades. You know, you can see Tryhard here now with the gold fist blades. Those type of weapons will do good work if you have the control in the small, minute moments of just catching a stagger against opponents. And now with Tryhard with fist blades, you know, we were talking about this earlier.
Yep.
The amount of pressure that comes out from fist blades in Tianhai can be detrimental for everybody. And of course, knowing that how the cave systems work now. If you guys don't understand, in Mortal War now, you don't buy caves keys anymore. It's just randomized in the map. And it's randomized in the map after the first Rummy Yang for players to choose upon entering it. Depending on the cave, could have a heck of a lot of fireflies. Fiery cave, for the instances, super south of the whole entire map. This cave has a lot of fireflies to run through. A lot of teams might want to make the rotation here, especially considering how much opportunity this gives for fights to be back-to-back ultimate spams. And you can see that happen right now while BWG take a huge engagement, and there's the ultimate from Tryhard. Let's get it.
Oh, we're going to see the double grab. Remember, it is going to be scaled. Not off of the legendary weapon, however. It is only going to be purple. No, it's one grab into the repeating crossbow. APF with the venom tip as well, just absolutely shredding Namza in a matter of milliseconds. You can hear and see all of the pressure coming through from the longsword, but again, another grab, another swap over to that repeating crossbow. Tryhard not able to find the punch towards the tail end of it, however, and he is going incredibly low. Gonna drop out of that monk form. Naiba gets caught up into the Zai V2. Niu's big, managing to catch him as he comes out of that transformation, gets stuck in the animation, and will not be able to dodge away from all of the gold focus coming through from that side. We get the Razor, or rather the Nessus into Dragon Slayers now coming on out from Koala to put pressure on the Zai and force them back, not allowing Big to start sitting into all of the stagger frames that he was able to abuse against BWG. Lovely usage there of the charge from Koala to avoid the potential grab coming on out from AS's Tianhai, who is currently transformed, utilizing as well the tree to be able to keep himself out of line of sight of those potential grabs. Sets up into the Nessus from the Dragon Slayers off of the air, and Koala will be able to find the lockdown on the unexpected target. As a result, now we can see incredibly low goes for the Yushin ultimate. Wants to put pressure on these players who are looking for the disengagement, not allowing them to escape cleanly so the rest of his team can put pressure coming on through. That's going to be the Monk F already now utilized. No combo break available for the Tianhai, and the Spear Stagger is going to be all of the setup. QNT needs to be able to capitalize and keep this Tianhai locked down. Pulse or charge R&B just not allowed to get into motion for AS to be able to escape.
I love the micro decision making between deciding to use a ranged weapon in the middle of that close engagement. It just gives you a good opportunity of seeing these teams knowing how well it works off of and how much value can actually add on to it. I want to shout out OUGU, man of the hour, from the MVP or from the CN teams, being able to just switch over to a pistol in a matter of a fraction of a second and then switch right back just to make sure he can go back into stone form for pulse word as a Takeda. And some things like that, small moments of being able to shoot out range damage, it also comes in a long way, right? Because you're not staggering, right? Depending on the weapon, of course. But if you're not staggering, that just gives you free amount of damage that comes out where someone may not have enough chances of dodging, you know, a full pistol shot. And that's usually coinciding with a shotgun, you know, because it's a pellet by pellets, and the pellets that come out here charge up and they condense. But when you use just a 1-point shot, that's enough damage to come out here. And meanwhile, fights between a Merry Immortal and his ultimate coming through here with his Farius Shen, or not Farius Shen, but with King Cobalt activating the shield walls. He has ultimate ready to get the team out for Wu Chen, but they're going to take this fight considering they're at 2 down. It's EMO versus the squad, if I'm not mistaken, with Rats. Yes, and it's going to be the case scenario where Rats does not have ultimate for the V3, is already down for the Viper Ning. Rare Immortal looking to try to anticipate whether or not these pulse sword strikes are going to come through into the direction. That's a gold pulse sword. That's a lot of damage. F1 comes out. There's the R&B release. Fanshout gets that elimination, but the port's going to be had. All teams in the vicinity could look for this beacon, but the Rummy Yang is going to be spawning in here in just a moment.
Wait, they TP on top of BWG.
Oh yeah, they did. I saw that. I didn't want to say anything about it because I saw them in the northern end. But they're going to be going to that Rum Yang for sure. We could see a cleanup crew on aisle 9 in a moment. But it looks like over by Gamma Mine, PP Love trying to go ahead and try to go for the confirmation hits. We will switch over to the Rum Yang in just a close moment. Parry with the sap kills off Hendrix. And I think that's going to be the final teammate for PF here as they eliminate for the first round.
Yes, we don't get to see any more kills coming through from BWG or Ratz's team. I believe they actually utilized the V3 from the Viper when we actually just hit over to the fight to try and get the kill onto the Hardy when the ultimate came on out. As we can see the pressure coming on out from the musket. Tian High Transformation is on the board for LYM's team. No headshot, but no grab at the moment has come down onto this Matari. PP Love doing a very good job of just buying space for their team to be able to recuperate. As it's going to be a little bit of lull until we see some of these teams decide whether or not they want to go for the Spirit Wells or whether or not they want to prioritize the second realm of Yang. Everyone across the board currently just hunting, seeing if they can find any of the straggling players. Some of these weaker teams liking to hang a little bit further back around the outer edges of this map. As you can see, LYM's going to kite all the way through to the Forbidden Seal, activate that one. Dinner Bell has rang and WDDH have shown up to the table to see if they can get a piece of the action. Bow shots from just a normal rarity bow coming on through, keeping LYM in the corruption tick for as long as possible. It's not super late in the game, so it's not going to be doing all that much damage to their health, but if they stick in there a little bit too long, it is going to hit their heal resources, and the effectiveness cut of those is going to be pretty terrible for this team to have to deal with, especially since this composition is incredibly good for the third party with that Tesla composition. If these fights go long, and there it is, you can catch them. The hit on the F2 comes on through, trying to find the isolation. And we are going to be seeing immediately off of the back of that Hengsod coming into play. Tesla F1 gets utilized, Combo Breaker comes on down, Justina Ultimate is in play as well. The V1 managing to catch on to Plan B, who does get frozen. Team are able to peel for it nicely. The Blistering Edge also being set up onto the pulsar to try and apply this fire tick as much as possible. They stack like dominoes, one in front of the other for the Priest to come on through. There's the Viper Ultimate catching all of these players. V3 making it even harder for this team to be able to disengage. Blistering Edge will be able to connect onto the Viper towards the tail, and we are going to see all of that fire tick finally melt through the health bars. There is going to be a third party though, so that was a lot of ultimates expended on the side of LYM, and Neo are now here to capitalize.
LYM's U did a lot of work there with the Justina keeping the control on the Viper, but now that they're going to get caught by New Squad, it's going to be a little bit difficult. F3 is avoided. As you can see, Mama going to be going ahead and throwing out that whisk throw, but the grab is already accrued. They're going to be looking to try to get PP Love out here, but the V2 from the Zai is going to go for the ensnare, so release, and trying to get caught by grabs. El Sheen's going to be looking to try to grab anyone that's causing issues for the teammates. There's the freeze number 2, but the V2 coming into play from the Zai is going to get caught by a grab. Now El Sheen's going to be focused down here, and while the reset's happening, PP Love is going to look for the R&B spam. This is perfectly in tune for what's supposed to be occurring. But considering his ultimate's about to be ended, Jump LMB, Clink coming back here, this is going to be where that musket shot comes into play here. And there it is. El Sheen goes down. It looks like we're going to see, with this squad, with a new gang, 15 eliminations so far into this round. We have 16 players total left alive. LYM still have one teammate left into the board. So while this fight is going to conclude over by Crow's Nest, we have another fight happening here. RID Yogurt going to go ahead and try to back off from this area of control. But considering that his teammate King is in the vicinity, that White Tiger's prowess strike might have occurred to hit King Cobalt on top of the tower here. Eyes peeled, looking for it. Rats' team making sure they have 4 eliminations on the board so far. We still have them to look towards in finding out King, but King is going to stay tidy in the zone, maybe even a little bit of damage here. And while they dissipate from the Council Courtyard Tower, they will make their way towards what might be their next fight against AS if they so long look in this direction.
I mean, a tiny bit of damage is very insignificant compared to the damage that could incur if you challenge the Ballista in the open. So correct pathing, I would say that. Might potentially be able to find the revive on his teammate as well, given the fact that they did actually abandon the scene while that was potentially still in play. QNT now going to be heading in towards Celestra, where we're probably going to see a lot of these teams now start to gravitate. We've got a battle between BWG and LYM currently going on that we'll probably head to in a matter of moments, as we can see QNT just out trying to figure out the lay of the land. Tryhard is actually going to be able to off-screen find the kill onto LYM's U. So we do know that is the Justina that is unfortunately going to be found out for that team. As BWG now head over towards... Oh my goodness, that is 37,000 Darktide coins. There is going to be a lot of shopping, and given the fact that Tryhard is running that Hang Sword rather than those fists that we know he has in the back pocket, I would assume it's going to be an attempt for Aurora Burst. Rampage is going to be picked up. We saw a little bit of Phoenix Blast coming on through so that you can have that additional pressure from the backline. However, going to a shop is one of those sought after locations, and as a result, BWG will find themselves potentially in a scrap. They're not actually going to choose to stick and fight it. They do know that they're probably going to get third-partied by these teams that have headed towards Celestra. And being on that Transformers composition, you really do not want to put yourself into the middle of all of these teams. The second that you use these ultimates, everyone is going to know that your burst window is down. You're going to be vulnerable and open for the killing. As it is now going to be QNT spotting BWG below them. Pistol shots loaded on up. Raven taking a little bit of chip damage as BWG try and rotate, but you can see they're so slippery. They just do not want to hold these spaces. They do not want to keep themselves in some of the central fights. They slip through Celestia to get a figure of how many teams are in the area so they can estimate, okay, when is the best time to third party? But they're going to be keeping themselves on the sidelines, just like RID is going to be keeping themselves on the sidelines, as we can actually see that, yes, King was able to utilize that blindside of Ballista rotation and actually get back to Yogurt. He was able to retrace his steps back to his teammate and find the revive without having to utilize one of those charms off of a box. That being said, he's not out of danger right now, and BWG are in the area, and they're going to be starting to see whether or not there's any straggle players looking to back away from the central fight of Celestra.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. The Crow's Nest rotation comes out here. I see the new squad are actually looking to go through this. Love is just keeping their front line, making sure they can try to capture any sort of aggression in the face of danger. And if they want to take the aggression, they would have to wait this one out until they spot another team. Now, the Moonbane's dropping through here. It's the second to last Moonbane we have into the round. Just end this one out. But looks like Love is taking a little bit more damage and they're kind of going through, so they're going to back off here. I did see a Dreadful Whale being appreciated from Nunu B, as he's going to be able to wield that one out. Try hard on top of the rooftop, making sure the Tin High is in spottage. We can see the F3 from Nunu Big once everyone lines up for a knockback. You got to understand that Raven's keeping this tether as long as he can until the duration runs out. That way, there's free pokage just coming in melee resistance format. Now, Nunu Big having to look for the Spirit Well here. This is going to be a good contest because Aurora Burst reveal for Love, bro. For Matari. What's that? What was that called? GG's. B2 on top of the Matari, too. So if he decides to teleport behind an enemy, you'll find the opportunity there with a Gold Honk Sword Aurora Burst. And that right there is if we can see Nunu Big confirm a stagger on somebody that can't go for a parry instead, and just being able to get that Spirit Well, this is going to be a huge surplus in power because I think, if not mistaken, Gold Armor 2, Gold Weapon. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
That Zai is going to be incredibly tanky. And you can see as well, BWG wanted to deny that prior positioning coming through from the Unu, understanding that you don't want to let Zai take first position inside Spirit Well, because if you try and contest her, you're just going to get grabbed into all of the V2. And Monk, if he wants to be able to use the Spirit Wells, if he wants to be able to utilize the fact that all of the damage on the players from the outside cannot shoot into the Spirit Well, does not apply to the players on the inside of it, you do need to be set up in a position first to be able to find those grabs, as opposed to trying to use the grabs that are not going to connect on the outside on the players that are inside. So Nunu very good in terms of rotating when they did, catching the Transformers composition before they're ready to make a play onto the low ground for the Spirit Well contest to come through, and then showing off, quite literally, the wealth of soldiers that they have to make it even harder for this team to contest, as we're going to see the Dreadful Whale coming through, trying to lock down some of these players into all of the CC stagger. Keep your eye on the Unia's team. They are definitely the ones to beat with the loadouts that they've been able to pick up so far in this lobby. That being said, we haven't seen some of these teams flush their win conditions. Rats also is going to have a Dreadful Whale to his name, as we're going to see the shadow effect every single time he looks for those dagger dashes, and it is going to be him putting himself up onto his tree, making sure that he's playing in the normal territory of the Viper composition, up as high as you possibly can be so that you're not getting pressured before the ultimate comes on through. Goes into, we're taking our chances against the Moonbane.
Yep.
Okay, we're going surfing, we're grabbing the board, and we're trying to hope that no one is going to chase us down inside that position. BWG also making themselves a little bit smaller in terms of the noise that they're creating. They wanted to go for the Spirit Well so that they could get that immediate loot upgrade and better put Tryhard into a position to be tankier when his ultimate skills up with the armor that he has equipped. Unfortunately, they were denied that by Niu, and as a result, they're going to have to play a little bit quieter until we can see the potential contest coming on through, as Tryhard is just gonna make sure that the Rampage muscle memory doesn't go south.
Zoom, zoom, flash slip. You know, he's doing all the anime moves you would expect coming out from
He's
Tryhard,
playing
right?
Kylan, even though Kylan's not quite enabled yet.
Yeah, and the big fight coming through. Well, I'm hoping to see Kylan in the competitive setting part 4 and seeing about Summer Challenge, but that's an immense Aurora Burst, man. Koala couldn't do anything. I couldn't even say words to live by because there was nothing to live by for Koala. Once that teleport happened, I called it. Casper cursed it. Look, Casper got caught by it too.
Oh my god, he's doing it again!
And it's a deletion.
It
really is a deletion. It's 18 eliminations, and guess what? He's still got 2 other teleports. This is the 7-18 patch, guys. If you guys don't know, this is where there's another one being coming out here. Yogurt's like, no. Let me get my TNI hold out here before you sign to me again. I gotta get this out.
Okay.
Everything's gonna be.
We
he's
don't
gonna
have
be backing off.
We don't have all anymore.
He's got 20%.
He's got 20% until the next one. He's gonna grab the soul boom and get it back up again. But oh my goodness. This is going to be so problematic. They do actually get the silence onto the Matari, but not in time. We've got V2 back into the mix. He has to be running rage glyphs.
It's gotta be.
Because he's getting so much rage generated from all of these hits. We're gonna see now, just going into the air, getting a read of the surroundings. Comes on through with that thrust. Just to reposition, there's the Zaya free to be able to keep the lockdown isolated. And it looks like this is King, who this team are just relentless in hunting down. PPLF does get caught inside the small twist, doesn't manage to find the capitalization. Dreadful Whale gonna lock all of the players down, setting up that Frost to come through. Now we've got the V2. Ouroboros doesn't find its immediate lookout as BWG have been able to get that pyro positioning. Triad finds the grab onto Niu big. The Viper going to be held in position for the repeating crossbar to come on out into the Phoenix Blast when he's stuck on the ground in the restand animation. Triad looking for the regrab. Unfortunately, isn't able to find it. The Matari getting the teleport into the silence setup of the Aurora Burst means even if he's able to find the swipe, he's not going to be able to find the slam. And he's forced out of the ultimate and he dies in it. Niu be able to come in with the dagger. Dreadful Well catching all of the players of BWG on the low ground. This is not where the Transformer composition wants to be stuck on. Raven getting forced into stone form with that pulse sword back against the rock, quite literally, as now it is just going to be clean up Niu with all of the Soul Jades necessary. PP Love with that Rampage, keeping pressure onto APF, who comes in with the Shaolin Jade on the spit, doesn't manage to find the kill. Poison Splash will activate, but it's just confetti onto Niu's team, as they're able to walk away with 23-11 into either Dreadful Whale follow-up or a Zai V2 follow-up. And we are going to be following up this with a lot of immediate action. It's still going to be Fireflies in play, and as a result, all of these teams are going to be getting incredibly aggressive incredibly quickly. EMO unfortunately going to find that Kurumi getting stuck against the wall, sets up for that Skirish to come on through with those Fist Blades. We'll be able to find the kill in these enclosed spaces as well, but will not be able to avoid all of the follow-up damage coming on out. It's interesting as well that EMO have picked the Fan and the Fist Blades so that they can get the most amount of value in these small spaces. As heading over to Shadow Jade, we've got Crazy and Niu's team going head-to-head with a Kurumi. Looks like it's actually going to be a mirror matchup of Zyphon compositions. There's the F3 setting on up big, getting so much damage with these dual halberds. Parries do come out from both sides, and we are going to see both of these teams backing off and giving a little bit of reset as a result. Big trying to prioritize catching them on the disengagement as Lanzi holds strong. Managed to find B before the disengagement can fully come through from the team. And now they go to the outsides of those tunnels, trying to figure out where exactly everyone else has run off to. Shadow Jade is an absolute labyrinth when it comes to placements that these players can kite to. There's the Frost catching on and closing up the distance, setting up for those halberds to start keeping the pressure on every single person still in this lobby. But everyone doing a very good job of just kiting away, utilizing the terrain architecture to keep the scale rushes as fluid as possible.
Yeah, it's going to be a good chance here to see about the distance close gap onto it. As you can see, Kamoka switching out over for the RRD for a swap in for one of the teammates. Going to be coming through here for the match today. Ratsto up against Numza here. This is going to be an interesting matchup. These both players actually played against with one another and on a team at the same time. But now, against opposite ends, the chase is happening. Rats putting himself into a chase against Numza. Numza looking to charge RMBs, and you can see the kick right there. Toes to the nose coming through from Rats as he's able-bodied and connecting that. There's the ultimate, though, coming from Lanzi's Potato, and everything comes out here. The Montari ultimate teleport, boom, RMB, there it is. And there's going to be the elimination that they're looking for. That's 6 eliminations Lanzi takes into Shadow Jade Mine, and they might not even stop there. I mean, party number 5. This team is working this through. They got all the boxes now left alone for them own. They can go to Baron Pit. They can find some more boxes there, more troves available for them. And this is going to be that gold lead that we're talking about. You take the amount of gold that you have in the early game. You're able to buy out supplies, able to buy out soul jades if you want, or you can save it up for purple armor. Noticing how you can take opportunities of buying gear outright in Immortal War in those shops. It's really a good quintessential area of expertise that some players just really want to depend on. But regardless, over by the Shipwreck Expanse near to the Scarlet Cave, we are going to see McFlurry here in a chase Pullman against one of the LYM mates, Mama. Now, as the ultimate is active for the Tumulch, McFlurry just keeps the kiting around, and he's got protection thanks to Oni's from Weishan's V2, where he has the vulnerability of any CC effects from like instances of the Temi Circle. But considering that the Temi Mama is going to be going back into this vicinity of the Shadow Realm, they are backing off completely. And this chase won't stop here. Even if they're going to Council Courtyard, if they find that one Firefly right there, they're going to be going to a bush. They're going to stay silent. And XGN, they ain't going to hit nothing. They ain't going to hit no bushes. They're going to take no trees. They're confused. The bell is struck. Oh, and it's spotted. Well, you know what? Castle Curse moment.
Yeah,
listen, I called it.
Say, they're kiting to the bell.
I always like to give benefit of the doubt.
The F3 is going to be able to find the connection, and that is going to unfortunately be LYM's Mamo. The chase has ended. Still, a very good effort to be able to keep XGN's attention for as long as possible, allowing the rest of the teams to be able to run to those soul altars and find that recovery spot. This is going to be now BWG going head-to-head with WDDH. We're going to see APF putting himself into the sky to be able to charge up that shadow step. Try hard on the board, on the field, inside that transformation. You can see BWG's 2 other players looking to try and keep the isolated player locked in so that the monk can close up the distance and find that potential grab. Plan B is going to make it a little bit harder, coming in with a Hang Sword and starting to melt through some of the feet of all of those focus hits going down onto him, using the F3 to be able to reposition before the rest of the players from BWG can catch on to the Zai and punish for being that close. Look to stagger up, but try out to be able to find the scoop. That is transformation now gone. WDDH holding on to these ultimates are going to be in control of all of this fight. We're going to see that Zai V2 catching all of the players from BWG as a result, and WDDH have lined them up perfectly. APF now caught between 2 players. The Zai F3 should be able to find the burn connection, will force the combo breaker, goes for the uppercut, finding Plan B, managing to connect onto the Tumulch as he drops out of that combo break animation, and that is going to be APF going down. He was unfortunately the sacrificial lamb for the players of BWG. Off of his sacrifice, Raven should have been able to reposition.
Yeah, and picking up Fireflies along the way to deny it from the team that just went through that fight. In this case scenario, Crazy Endo find a soul bloom for Nunu Big as he's able to catch that V2 strike. RD's UHL is down. This is going to be the second elimination that Nunu squad is going to be taken through, aka Crazy End, inside of the, if I'm not mistaken, north of the ghost town, southwest of the graveyard, or by Council Courtyard. So for this team, rotation-wise, maybe Fiery Cave, perhaps. But we do see P-Love going down here as AS's Sangyu is in that vicinity of this fight. This could be a scrap off here in just a moment. And of course, XGN switching this over while they're going for a chase against QNT. Now, this is a Moonbane that's active for another 47 seconds for them to place out. If they can find the engagement and force QNT's hands of wanting to take that scrap off, this is going to be a perfect Moonbane placement. McFlurry launches it, going for it. Now they got the close gap towards Casper, forcing himself to really just distancing himself into the eastern side of this Moonbane. But of course, he's going to have to leave his team behind. As you can see, the Forbidden Seal's active. It's going to deny Heart's ultimate as the Hottie, and as it came through, McFlurry still trying to get the action. He is closing in. Moonbane strike number 1, knocking Casper to the sky. Oh my goodness, Moonbane strike number 2. Can we get a Can we get a triple Moonbane potentially? No, because Casper's going to be looking to release the horizontal blue focus. F3 comes out to the corner. Oni's going to have to really work against this Kurumi ultimate, and inside the Moonbane, Casper will take his fight even across the edge. You see Moonbanes coming off this side, but a grab coming in from the sightlines is going to give Casper a little bit of attention towards his teammate who fought that grab. Now Casper has his recast for just one more tick of health to be given to the teammates. And for everything coming out for the away shot, the rotations here are flawless. You can see Koala now giving the team enough time to escape with that semicircle, putting out the sustain. That 50 heal per tick with F3 is just too strong. But teammates, you know what? You got to use it. You got to take it. Take what you can for the victories you can accrue. And for this, Q&T just went ahead at an almost near-death situation. Coming back outside of the Realm Yang, or coming outside of the Moonbane, I should say. Casper taking 2 Moonbane blasts and yet still sustaining himself throughout this whole duration.
I mean, Kurumi has just outpaced Seeping in terms of support meta, as we're going to see AS. Without the Kurumi, they've got the Justino and Tumult for their Monk Charge R&B first stage going to be coming on out. From that Tianhai mincing Ellie into the ground 6 feet under, as a result flashing the red just to see whether or not those focus hits are going to be thrown out. Finds a really good connection on the Matari mid-frost, unfortunately will not be able to cancel it, and is going to still lose one of their players. Sangyu does go down as a result. Dodges away, gets hit into Stone Bomb, does not decide to throw it out, comes in with the charged R&B yet again, shredding down the spine of Paditu just before they can push away. As a result, that rage is enough to get into that Tianhai ultimate. Unfortunately for them, another team shows up. QNT show up on the scene, and even though that transformation bought them all of the spacing, they weren't able to stick the landing. Sang Yu does not get revived by the team as they had to reposition before the third party could come out. Heading now into the Realm of Yang, we've got WDDH and EMO going to be going head-to-head Siphon composition, prime Siphon composition. That is the Kurumi, not the Zeeping variant. Going to be going head-to-head as all of these players go into the sky. Kurumi trying to keep herself as far away from the lockdown as possible. There's the F3 tether. Immediately going to be snapping that one to get the 90% damage reduction. As we can see, the charge R&B on this hub is looking to connect and catch these players as they fall from the ground and hit into the landing. Gets another tether because of that Matari ultimate activation to be able to give another 90% tether snap damage reduction to Fan Zhao. Unfortunately, it's not enough. Vegan has gone down already. We're going to see the armor circle now coming out from the Kurumi. However, the Matari and the Zai V2 making it incredibly hard for EMO to be able to hold their spacing. WDDH with so much patience, still able to control the tide of this entire Realm of Yang fight. They had to go against 2 Kurumi 90% tether snaps, and they were still able to keep all of their players intact. What an amazing control and what an amazing masterclass of spacing that this team just showed.
Got to showcase that if a Kurumi ult is active, Cat, they know what to do. They just use the F2 from Atari and they knock him out. And everything came out in the end game where it comes through, or if you don't catch that last second tick coming through, you just miss out on a whole 300 armor heal. And that's a lot, especially coming into motion that whenever you have the tether active, it's a lot of mitigation. But Spearwell contention over by the Islet Crater. Big chances for PF to actually look towards and just trying to deny XG. A nice double tether. As you can see, to catch the R&Bs, you're looking for this tether, the tether to go ahead for the pop. Let's see what happens here. Double blue focus release, possibly? No, he's going to look for the flank in case of anything, and he's looking really hard for this flank. Hendrix really anticipating that coming out from the hottie. Now having to throw the shield walls down. Double Tesla ultimate is now in play. Now the Wu Chen port to get the team out. Dodo's down for the count, but the rest is going to be occurred. Nums is looking for it. You can see that El Ching is looking to try to spot out that Wu Chen beacon of light, and no one's going to be able to spot it out. LYM still having the Spearwell to availability for themselves. They're still going to have a TNI ult to deny any sort of pressure havers from this area. They do have Vermilion Birdspine as well, so they don't really need to take any opportunity here unless they see a target and just go full ham with single target attacks with their weapons on standby. Now, of course, for a minute or for about 100 seconds, they will have this Vermilion Birdspine, but this forest line has a lot of fireflies to be scattered around. So for fireflies to be here would be a good switch up. You can see Numza actually having 70% rage, and now Hendrix actually finding himself the second firefly. He is now at 100%. He's got another escape for the team just in case.
Numza's
and this team could look forward through. Yeah, he is looking at. You think what I'm thinking? You think he's gonna do what I'm gonna be looking for?
Hendrix is gonna be stepping up to the plate to try and keep LYM's attention and allow him to get away. Numza comes back in with the Viper ultimate And as a result, we are going to see that stun come through. This Tian Hai, so incredibly low, does manage to just get the transformation off before he goes down. Actually, no! BWG come in and managed to find all of the damage necessary. Tryhard with his transformation is the Tian Hai who's able to hit the ultimate. BWG with a textbook third party. See the Viper ultimate charge on off, know that a fight goes down, and show up to the party, crashing it in style. As we get the Kurumi Tether snap. Tryhard heads over to the Soul Bloom, picks it up, gets a little bit of those resources back. They're even going to be dropping that armor circle to make sure that everyone is intact. Has that one recast still to be able to utilize. Pulse up spacing as well, making it even harder for these players to push BWG outside of the area effects of that Kurumi ultimate. And as a result, BWG will be able to cycle all the way back into another Tether drop coming on through from Raven. Tryhard 86%, so close to that next ultimate as here comes LYM back from the grave. They know that the fight is still going on. Scarish from the Pulse will be getting the maximum hit of damage as Tryhard manages to, off of the back of all of that, scale back into another ultimate. Looks for the grab. Will he be able to find it? Has to reposition before the corruption tick comes through. Into APF's ultimate. Does he go to make sure that all of the range pressure from these Farrier mechs does not keep him staggered and stop from looking for those grab potentials from BWG, as he just uses it to create the spacing necessary for BWG to create more room between themselves and the two other teams in the area. As a result, when they remove themselves, no one is looking at them. Instead, it's XGN still looking at LYM. BWG get a full reset opportunity server and are probably going to be looking to third party again.
Yeah, they could take any opportunity from that ridge line and going right back into it. In the meantime, somewhere near the tower, the Ballista, we have QNT into this vicinity. Now they have an opportunity of third party and the third party potentials, right? We got to look towards the Ballista range. It is going to be a little bit more shoddy in terms of the forest line here towards this area, but QNT taking their time over this ridge line, looking to try to commit towards his staggers against WDDH's DCRKK. Now, of course, crossbow with the new, with the chicken skin coming through here. Casper looking for the fist blaze and try to go for the charge R&B techs. Of course, seeing the releases from the kicks, gonna try to anticipate enough spacing between both them, the target, and themselves, and in case for emergency parry or just emergency blue focuses. There's a Scare Rush spam, and there's DCRKK going down. Koala finds QNT's 7th elimination here. We have this tower to be looking for PF, as they are going to be looking to try to engage them. BWG putting out the try-hard motion here for the Scare Rushes with the pole sword. Players see him in the solos, and he's bringing out the mic in him, and everything comes out towards tryhard with the pole sword, Scare Rushing, spam, catching with the R&Bs. You saw him actually do it against LYM early then with the Boation ultimate, and now the parry is met, and that's going to be the elimination BWG just took through, with Plan B getting eliminated. BWG have 5 kills on the board. We still got Romy Yang number 2 to work into play, with a gold dagger on standby for tryhard, right? And we're looking at this at 80% rage, 85% rage. But one thing I want to know, the grabbles. Where are the grabbles, Holmes? I mean, look, he was chasing everyone out coming in here. The supplies for the teammates might be coming out, but you can see Dodo into the vicinity, over to the Zest winery. Just go rotate into the zone if you can.
Did they
Meanwhile, we see fights. I don't know.
He went almost directly past APF. Unfortunately, XGN's McFlurry has been found in Celestra. As it's really interesting to see that not a lot of people are prioritizing either griefing the entrances to Realm of Yang, much more just congregating into the central belts of the map where they think teams are going to be. This is going to be a Realm of Yang fight going down between, I believe this is 2 Xiphon composition, or rather this is 1 Xiphon composition against, that is a Tian Hai team. So that is going to be Transformers versus Xiphon. This is going to be incredibly interesting to see whether or not the Xi composition will be able to hold strong. That is a Z-Ping, not a Kurumi. Especially there's the F2 from the Mitari looking to offset the motion. Stormform already going to be forced out of the pulse, so charged R&B though. The first charge will be able to connect onto the Mitari. PP Love has to utilize the ultimate to get that thrust back and reposition in time before they go down. Smolch ultimate now is going to be invested alongside the Tian Hai ultimate to split the team and make it even harder for them to operate around this Tian Hai. Unfortunately, the 4 pillars inside the Realm of Yang provide so much cover. One grab has come through. PP Love actually gets caught looking for the teleport slow and does get grabbed. No double until just now. Both players going to be collapsed. Rock, paper, scissors. Down you go into a follow-up grab on the last player from the UB. That is just going to be clean up. Surely Nunchucks comes on through. Zai F3 will be able to keep the Zai living a little bit longer, but as a result, AS now just turn their attention 2 versus 1 against B. Zai V2, the fire tick, does manage to hit onto the Tian High. No Karumi, no potential cleanse. Zai going to actually mind game with the Golden Frame focus. Xiaohu managing to mitigate a little bit of it with the F1, but unfortunately it is not enough. Lacking the ability, once those ultimates have been removed, to dispatch the Zai, who held on to the ultimate, waited for the full 30 seconds when the Transformer would be incredibly vulnerable, having come outside of that ultimate and the health reset. And Niu were able to pull it out of the bag.
Yeah, they're going to get their eliminations, their gold weapon, everything that they want. Maybe even, I mean, potentially going for that White Tiger's prowess as observed. Koala, though, with QNT, it's going to be a Transformer versus Transformer between both Tian Highs, Tryhard, BWG, QNT going against one another in the ropes. Now, the Casper ultimate has been procced. Second Kurumi to be ulted here. APF looking to try to get as much R&B focuses off of Kishi, but knowing that this F3 is not going to give him the mitigation necessary to kind of mitigate any sort of pressure from poke damage, they're going to be backing off here. Look at this. It's going to be the poke opportunity right now that BWG did not want to take in close quarters combat with the Kurumi ult active, and especially with Mystic Might active. That mitigation of 25% for that duration just gives them enough time to just eat up any sort of chip damage that comes out, even with its range, even if it's a quick LMB dash from a pole sword, that they can just go ahead and heal back. Meanwhile, PF versus LYM, it looks like you just found an elimination against Numza into the kill feed. And while that happens through here, we do know that with QNT, they got a bounty score on the target somewhere in the world. You know, we're going to assume that they're not chasing them directly, just going to keep eyes on the map for them. But with them making their way towards Fiery Cave, they're trying to look to see if there's any Fireflies here, as we suspected, coming off of that fight with that ultimate spin-off between them and BWG. And it looks like some Fireflies are still here to be digested. And you can see Kishi actually has that ultimate ready to go here. And AS, having roaming English for another 4 minutes, they're going to have to find targets throughout Council Courtyard and making their way towards Celestia even, just to see about the Northern Strip and seeing if there's any players looking for stragglers like themselves.
I mean, they need to find a bounty scroll, ideally, because that's going to give you all of the information of where some of these players are. Unfortunately for them, it looks like the one team that they're going to run into is the team that bested them inside Realm of Yang. That is Niu. And they are able to lock down B. Reinforcements are going to be coming back, however. Here comes the rest of the team with the Mystic Might. Legendary fan in the hand of Big on this side. Just waiting on the outskirts to be able to come through. Third party on in and cleave with the charged R&B. Wisp does manage to catch on to one player, but Sangyu unfortunately has gone down to PP Love. And we're going to see Mitari F2 now invested Xiaolu. Going to be opting for the transformation alongside his Justina ultimate too. The Freeze is looking to find the CC necessary to stand into some of these grabs. One player has been grabbed. Looking for the double to confirm. Goes for the jump to reposition, but as a result doesn't have the uptime to be able to find the slam down and gets shredded by the charged R&B on the fan. Just absolutely cooking into the feet of the Transformer player. We're going to see the Freeze now coming on through, but unfortunately there is just no capitalization. The Justina ultimate has well worn its time out, and Niu's free lost players are just looking for the cleanup opportunity at the moment, as those halberds look to just keep the fight going as long as possible. Free shell form going to be intercepted by the Scale Rush as Yang Liang comes out of that defensive capability, but potentially there is the capability for punishment, as LYM just rolled up into the area. Are they going to try and take a fight, having seen the ultimates that Niu's team invested?
You know, Niu squad with 13 eliminations right now. If they get caught out, good proportion of repositions. You actually saw right into that first engagement that they just had, was that they took a chance of looking towards with B taking into, or Big, I should say, with the Zai, taking matters into their own hands, forcing the fight territory inside of the building, right? And a Zai taking a fight inside the building, right, for instance, is just understanding the amount of control that you have. If that team needs to fight you, they'll take that fight. They need soul blooms. They need to get rid of the roaming completion. Force it out of them, right? And knowing whether or not they need that soul bloom, if they'll want to walk into that building, you take those W's if you can. Now, LYM, they're coming onto the flank here. They're going to see towards the graveyard. Niu is going to be coming through. Crazy End could get ambushed upon. Gold armors obtained. Gold fan, yeah, that's great and all, but well, you know it's great. Triple headshot right here. No, not going to happen. LYM though finding a parry against Hendrik with Numza with PF team. This is going to be a tough point here, but that's going to be where we're going to lose out for PF for this placement so far. While LYMU picking up the elimination there with that longsword against Hendrix. It is important to note that this team is also kitted out of their minds, right? The gold Hong sword on standby for its mulch. Man, you know, one thing I always like to see, lethal jab, horizontal blue focus for the Hong sword. And it really goes a long way in trios because it close gaps far better than some weapons that you notice to see, because it's a range blue focus there, like, you know, pseudo range blue focus by just close gap into any nearby targets. Now these guys, smart part two, they're looking for them chances and being able to look for the boxes in case of any baby supplies. Repair chest is going to be a must into this in-game story, because we know how much time it comes towards how much poke can you poke onto the poke, right? How much poke can you throw with cannon shots, musket shots, bow shots, just anywhere between the vicinity of targets, and that way they have to burn through their heals and you take the force out of their hands of where they have nothing to live for.
Yeah, especially if you have Flame Breath. Rupture Gale and Flame Breath being a purple soul trade is very, very good for economy in terms of Immortal War, with everything becoming that much more expensive. Especially since the fire tick just melts quite literally for your entire healing stock. So it's really important that you do have those repair kits to be able to keep those cannons repped and kitted out and churning through both rage for your players, but also just melting and shredding through all of the supplies that the teams around you have. That is one of the major problems that a lot of these teams are going to face when they all get pushed into these small spaces. Everyone's already been through here. All of those supplies have already been picked dry. And as a result, the only way you're going to see more on the board is when those kills come through, and sometimes that desperation, that aggression that you force some of these players into being forced to partake in is enough for them to put themselves in a much worse situation. As you can see, no one's really wanting to make the first move. There's a lot of pressure coming through from players on all sides, but no one is actually committing to a fight, as everyone understands. If you commit to a fight, mutual assured destruction from both ends. Yes, you'll probably be able to pick up 1 or 2 extra kills, but very, very quickly, once that fight has petered out, everyone else in this lobby is going to be turning their attention onto you, especially if ultimates have already been forced out of your hand in the fight prior. And as a result, we get a little bit of lull time. It's the buccaneering phase, but no one's really wanting to buccaneer either.
Yeah, and it's something to note. I mean, it's like I love this change of pace because it comes down towards just positioning and utilization. And right now, this is going to be the final moon paint into the game. It's going to split out everyone from the center over towards the vicinity. The perimeter right now is now flat ground. There's a little bit of trees, a little bit of fence here and there, rocks, things of that nature to kind of reposition. But it's also take any opportune moment you can into the final moments into the game. That's my favorite moment, because you got to understand, whenever you see ultimates being spammed here left and right, we're going to get into that point very, very soon. It's also to the manner of fashion, just being able to capitalize on, you know, how many soul blooms are being picked up. Can you ult again, you know? And every single ground unit target that comes through, like to mulch, with like every opportunity you can to kind of look for it, but even more so Zai's. And we still got that Spirit Well to be spawning in here in just a moment. But the pressure is on here. Crazy End's team's going to be looking to try to go up against RID, and it looks like with everything coming out, the bait out was true. There we go. Bow shot hits it. Going to be a little bit of hit damage on King. King is going to look to try to repossess himself in the position of being able to heal, doing the movement, crouch left and right, and just going ahead and taking one armor powder heal with a team south of them. That's going to be RID's next biggest threat.
I mean, what they've been able to do, though, with that pressure is they've forced the teams into each other. Now, as a result, New's entire forces have this entire side of the zone free to themselves, which means no one's really going to be able to contest them. No one's going to be able to force their hands in terms of those ultimates before the Spirit Well starts to come into play. And we're still waiting to see where exactly that Spirit Well is going to be. 15 players left. Spirit Well spawning up in 80 seconds. These players are going to be able to see where they're going to have to start controlling any moment, and that is going to determine a huge part of the aggression that we see coming on through. In fact, the aggression is already that. It is going to be RID now turning immediately onto these players of Neo. They're making sure that these ultimates are going to be forced. They figured out that this team wants to hide something and wait until the zone has fully collapsed, and they're not going to allow that win condition to be hit quietly. As BWG take a little bit of time to get the cannon repaired, as we talked about. 5 repair kits on the end of Tryhard, Karumi, Tether as well, making sure to keep all of the players healed up and the damage reduction continuing to tick through so that the Transformers team are not forced into ulting. This is a very good final zone for a Transformer. No cover to be able to obscure a line of sight and stop these Monkans from coming through. It is crucial that BWG do not get spotted out by these players. They do not see the Tian Hai lurking amongst all of the players, all of the heroes left within, and as a result, BWG are just showing the Karumi and the Tumult, basically compositions and heroes that can fit in a lot of other comps that aren't necessarily tied to Transformers. And as a result, the Monk hasn't been found just yet. Trio's going to be taking a little bit of damage. Spirit Well comes on through. BWG are able to put themselves into the best possible position for it. Dreadful Whale going to be on the side of Tryhard as well. We can hear the Zai attempting to come through with that V2. It's going to be covered, however, by the F1. Tryhard able to go for the ultimate. Finds a grab onto a player. Koala gets the Karumi tether, but Tryhard is going to immediately push and punch Koala further away from the team and deeper into the corruption tick damage. Gets the Reaver grab into another follow-up punch, and this time we can see two other Tian Hais now join into the fray. 3 Monks going head-to-head. Tryhard getting frozen by the Justina. Will lose a little bit of uptime. Is going to be dropping out of the ultimate any moment now. Falls back into Karumi's armor circle to be able to hold his ground. Comes in with that dagger. Looks to set up potentially the Dreadful Well. It's going to be the uppercut, trying to find the hits into the charged verticals from the longsword for APF to be able to, rather Raven, to find the follow-up. As a result, BWG with the Tumult ultimate managing to get control of the Spirit Well as well as the buffs to hit the 100% rage regeneration. And we go again. And at this moment, no one can look at BWG because everyone is still reacting to the Xiphon composition that was taking the fight outside of the Spirit Well.
Big chances here for Try to look for a grab. He catches Casper. 2 minutes left on the clock before we enter to the final minutes, seconds. Everything is now on the dime. R&B release from APF. The lineup is immaculate. He finds Mama. Mama gets grabbed. It's going to be a single. Nope. It's going to be an insta-kill from this point on. The Mortal Defiance proc has proc through. Tryhard has to end ultimate here now, having a full chance for the Karumi circle to keep the sustain going. Soul Break release. Nunu Big finds that elimination against La Mama, but of course, Nunu Big looking for the R&B spam. That's the most important part right here. There's look towards Tryhard. Tryhard looking for the horizontal. He's getting the release. There's going to be the stanchion. It's going to knock him back. APF being the result of that. Parry coming in from APF, but the F3 is going to knock back any sort of targets here, while Love takes any opportunity here with the F2 to get a concise F2 strike across the targets with the thrust ability for Matari, and another ultimate from APF as it's to most. Parry from Love, though, and going it towards Raven's direction. A nice change of pace. While Love has to worry about Nunu B's state of mind, it's going to be a White Tiger's prowess. It's going to eliminate it, and with it, BWG catches the second round and eliminating the team prior for the MVP. It is now going to take over for 12 eliminations, and for this, Nunu Big being left into the dirt with the R&B releases is going to be slammed down here. Mortal Defiance proc everything. He's going to be not pressing E. He's going to let it right out, and that's going to be game 2. It's a straight tremendous victory coming in for BWG coming through here. But with the kill eliminations that we have going off, it does seem the MVP goes back. Last Morizal. I know we want Fireflies on standby. But listen. Last game for Morizal today. And then we're going to haul off for the remainder of the half of the games to be played. But round 3 begins. AS is over by the Crow's Nest and looking for the Fist Blades. No confirmation off those vertical blue focuses, but you can see the ambition is there. F3 to be initiated here from Shuei. And then with it, looking for the slaps. There's a Clink number 1. Going for the dash R&Bs. And there's going to be the LMB release for the 1.0. King Cobalt on the same mindset about it. And there's going to be the Soul pickup. King Cobalt trying to look for that parry. It's going to happen in his face. And Shuei is going to find that elimination for the team that they may have been looking for, and then investing into another chase for another kill targets because they just reached 3 eliminations into the first minute.
Yeah, Xiphon compositions have to be aggressive right from the very beginning, especially so you can get your ultimate and guarantee you get a weapon as quickly as possible. Tryhard and BWG are on that Xiphon composition. Unfortunately, Tryhard is going to go down before we cut away and get to see AS yet again. This time, they're the ones who are going to be losing. There's like a lot of these players going down incredibly quickly, and Zai being a main target of focus for everybody, so that if the V2 does come through, the Zai is very, very low when the ultimate activates, and you can just tank the damage and body her down. Unfortunately for the Viper variety composition, they've already lost their Viper. They did use one Tester ultimate to try and clear the board in terms of spacing and set up for Potato to come in with that pole sword and start shredding some of these players down. Gets one horizontal, lovely dodge through Yang Liang to be able to set up into the follow-up catch. And as a result, the Tesla will be able to pick up both the Wu Chen and both the Viper. Probably, yep, there we go. Both revives getting to come through from these teams without having to invest into those charms. As it's going to be Nums's team heading into Celestra, getting to find an isolated player sitting inside that shop. Yushan going incredibly low. Ferry already going to be dropping That pillar charge vertical from the fan coming on out from Hendrix as Yushan does hop into the parry of V3 that was provided, and as a result gets a little bit of extra lease on life. However, Hendrix is going to be going for the Yushan ultimate, looking to try and find where these players are running away from. Gets blasted by Stagger from the Ferris. Celestra being incredibly good for these teams that just breaking all of the ankles, cutting the noise and disengaging away, and as a result Hendrix is having to spend a vast majority of his ultimate just running on the rooftops and scouting out where they've ran to. That is a Yoto that we've got in play. That's not a composition that you tend to see every day, as the F will be able to cover the doorframe and potentially provide enough time, but unfortunately that means no combo break available for the Yoto when we cut back to them in the neutral now, and Hendrix with the charge vertical on that fan will be able to find the connection and the grab, and as a result the follow-up to finally be able to confirm the kill.
It was a great chance for Hendrix to just really showcase in the movement for Weishan. And of course, I mean, it came down towards a running out of time moment, but they came back on top. 3 eliminations coming for PF there. QNT, though, in their fights over by Servants Grounds, they're going to find Fireflies to be occurred right here if they haven't picked up already. But you know what's really interesting? I've been seeing this from before, is that F2 coming from Tessa. I like it. 20-second duration cooldown. It's faster frames than what it once was before, and when the changes happened for Tessa, it really just came through. But F1 is, you know, kind of that combo breaker skill with the Foxfire effect. Now, Barry comes out here. There's going to be the kill with it. Ellie trying to look for that parry bait. It's going to get caught out here. Double RMBs, and QNT just finding another set of eliminations. They're looking for the final moments for LYN. Parry, man, you like to see these parries. I like to see these parries. And they're going to be coming back and forth. QNT rocking the house and having 5 eliminations earned out at the Servants Grounds. They're going to see Ellie and the team Lanzi to go ahead, respawn over by Eventai Tempo. I would hope so. Maybe, perhaps. We have to see what that spawn's going to look like. Because now we got XGN making their ways through here. Their combat format is going to be a Temi Takeda sandbox. You know how it goes. Sand Siphon's into play. McFlurry going to start out for that whisk throw. And you can see that it's going to be where elimination of Belchin's coming out, but the F2 is going to occur. The Moonbane out of nowhere. Just take the insurance policy and we're going to use it. And another Dragon Slayer occurs. You can see how much heart is putting it into the work. And McFlurry has to really work this one out. That Moonbane slam, boom, went the 1-2s and the 3s. And we released those. Mama goes down. McFlurry and the team, there's not going to be the only ones left here. Matari teleport kids solo 1v3. And you know what? I say that Matari, Moonbane, who's going to win? Which is the bigger M? Rather than turn it upside down, it's a W for Moonbane.
I was going to say, if she tries to just immediately go for that teleport play with a focus hit onto XGN, they're just going to sit inside the Moonbane and she's going to have to teleport into that AoE damage. XGN, very, very good spacing as well, creating all of the opportunity for her to come in with those spear cleaves and really put pressure onto the Xiphon composition, forcing the ultimates out of the synchronization that the Xiphon composition wants to find themselves running with. Crazy and unfortunately going to be losing one of their players. I believe that was not that Viper, I think that was that Wu Chan, which is rather unfortunate, as PP Love is going to go down to Tryhard's F3 connection. And what's really interesting as well is that in this lobby, it's not just one team that's leading the charge in terms of all of these kills. A lot of these teams have locked into the Xiphon composition, and as a result, they're cannibalizing each other's game scores. So Crazy N, even though they're not on a composition that's going to be picking up insane amount of kills all the way through, coming through on the Viper variety and looking to third party, and being a little bit weaker in terms of the 3v3 straight matchup against the Xiphon composition itself, they're still not really going to be challenged all that much in terms of the leaderboard for the day as a whole. Because remember, they're 30 points ahead of everybody else currently. If all of these other teams keep cannibalizing their game scores, whoever walks away with MVP isn't going to be able to have a 20 kill game score, and as a result, they're still not going to be able to catch up.
Yeah, and it's going to be a dangerous game if Crazy N just keeps at least a minimum like 9 kills each game and some placement points here and there to try to go ahead, finding out the final fight, 12 eliminations like that. But double parry coming out. Song Yu looking to try to capitalize on that heal, maybe looking for the weapon instead, takes his chances here, just rotating around, looking to use as much as the terrain as much as possible. Weishan ultimate from Cat, from WDDH, just trying to look to capitalize onto it. Song Yu is going to get that res momentarily if that Weishan doesn't stop attacking, because Cat knows what to do here. Put the pressure on the Kurumi, ain't nothing she's going to be able to come through. He's looking to anticipate the teleportation. Cat has around 5 seconds left on ultimate, gets that mitigation for the team as well as some control, but there's going to be no need for it. It looks like WDDH just had this down to a T. They got themselves 8 eliminations. They find Song Yu inside of a little bit of the corridor here in Shadow Day Mine. a little miss of the grapples here and there, but that's okay because, you know, we're going to still keep that chase game going. And you can see the res is actually going to go ahead and be denied for one of the teammates. So far, that AS going to have to look and see if they have any other lives left beyond the dirt, because right now we're looking at Tryhard and try to find elimination with against RID's Yogurt, who just swapped out from Komoka last round. Prior was in the first round, so RID making chances going through there. LYM's Q-Ching, though, looking to be going down here. Oh, well, Mama and you are still alive into the vicinity. 71% on the rage for that Matari. So the offensive reasoning comes out here. We're going to leave Mama behind, considering the team is already on full offensive duty. And you can see as Zai has been coming through from EMO. Van Zhao finds the elimination. And this is going to be their second elimination coming out right before Rummy Yang number 1.
Yeah, you unfortunately going to be left for LYM. But as you said, Matari, one of those heroes who can hold her own in terms of survivability. When it's just her against the pack of wolves of everybody else in this lobby, are we going to see teams go inside the realm of Yang? We have a lot of Siphon compositions, but we also have a lot of teams that have already just finished fights, and as a result will not have the rage necessary to be able to take those confidently. As Casper uses that F3, is getting hit into the stagger, will be able to activate the V2 in time to get another F3, tries to reposition, actually gets caught out by the Farrier pillar drop just as he hits the ground. Charges up the fire tick, will be able to connect it onto the Yushan. He's trying to find the kill before that ultimate and health reset can come through. He's been able to chase the Yuashan away. Looks for the isolated F3 again onto the Yuashan, just using the Matari stealth to make it harder for these teams to be able to track his location and keep up the pressure. There's the Yushan ultimate now onto the field. Casper now out of that V2. Going to put himself onto the rooftop, get a little bit of that armor back, swaps over to the musket, puts pressure on the Farrier just before, or rather the Yodo just before the Farrier and the Yushan can drop down. They're griefing the entrance to this realm of Yang, however, neither of these teams going to be entering, utilizing the F3 to bypass the Yoto ability to try and control that space, and as a result, Plan B does not get to use it to get his team any opportunity for a heal. Will go down. Now it's just going to be DC RKK charging up those Dragon Slayers, not to find damage, but to keep himself out of the fight a little bit faster. Goes for one. Doesn't manage to go for any of the follow-up afterwards. However, to go into Realm of Yang and get to see Fan Xiao with the Cavalry Bloom on these Dual Blades, looking to start up the Lawnmower. Comes on through, finds the connection. Soul Form going to be forced from the Pole Sword. Mincing through, waits for the Red Flash to be able to time all of the follow-up. Charges the Scale Rush up. Doesn't find any connection, but just keeps his position even harder for these players to be able to track down. That's all Cavalry Bloom wants. Take your eye off of the Dual Blades, and that's when it'll be able to clip you through. Hendrix not able to activate the Yushin ultimate in time. Goes down mid-animation cast. And as a result, the numbers advantage in is EMO's favor. We get to see the V2 now starting to hit on out the fire tick. That's going to be the F1 being utilized now from the Zai, not the F3, as Fan Xiao will be able to keep himself away from the fight, just using those pillars to disguise where the chain scythes is going to come from. Karumi on the circle as well, making sure everyone on EMO's side is going to be nice, hale and hearty. When we go back into the neutral, 30 seconds left. They've just got to try and kill this Hardy, but that Hardy ultimate is going to be making it a little bit harder, especially since Matari doesn't have the opportunity to find the backstabs. And this Hardy is making their life so painful, sir. We're almost down to 10 seconds. The cube is gonna come through. They can't catch Adon. They need to find the kill. Can the Hardy survive? The ultimate is down. Cavalry Bloom is attempted, but no. The cube that was set up allows the reposition. And as a result, he's not on the ground long enough for Cavalry Bloom to clip him. And we time out. Adon lives the entire duration. And EMEO get hit with Yang depletion.
Shout out A. aka Doodoo Monster, surviving until the end, keeping himself going through here, and making everything count every second, even with the teleporter being used at the last possible second. But it's going to be a Rummy Yang depletion, like you said. It's going to be tough. Both teams now have to find for themselves, but it's better to give PF an opportunity of diminishing the other team's return with not getting any sort of buff, no opportunity for gold weapon, and the gear in general. Now there's going to be a Q&T fight coming outside of the Rummy Yang. It's going to be where they don't have a buff themselves, but they got themselves a little bit of a tassel against BWG coming out here with the V2 ultimate. You can see it. Tryhards are releasing it, aka Jamal Iverson, and you can see how much pressure is going to be coming out between both of these sides. APF having his blades out, Raven having the Parasol to be activated. You can see the V2 coming out here to connect against Koala. Koala goes down, teleports coming out here from the Matari. As you can probably see, this is going to be where APF Shine's going to be giving out the second elimination. And now BWG catching out 2 targets on the list. 8 eliminations for this team. And there's going to be a lot of gold they got, right? We got to look at the shop that's like 5 meters away from them. They can take that shop, find anything they want to purchase. If they want to buy all the soul jades that are on the purple rarity or higher, they can do that. It's not going to be a problem. It's only up to them to decide upon saving the money for now or spending it for later. Now on to the Celestial region. We do see ourselves with RID Yogurt as it came through. And if you guys are curious about what's happening here between the teammates, yes, Yogurt did swap out Komoka for round 2, but is back for round 3. Yogurt going ahead and trying to catch that grapple off against Casper, who is just trying to run away from any pursuers. But it's also more important that Casper can be that instigator. You know, you got to understand when you're a sole target left behind by yourself and there are other enemies around and you're getting chased by one team, you can force that team onto another team, right? That can kind of happen. It can happen. It's a chance, but you got to take it, especially if you're one sole survivor. And now you can see it coming through here. RID are trying to lock through here as EMO arrives to the scene. And this is going to be a fight, Moxie, that comes into play where there could be a third or even a fourth party.
Especially since we have another extra team because of that timer inside the Realm of Yang that has depletion and is going to be drifting towards the central part of this map. Celestia tends to be where everyone goes when they have Yang depletion, looking for these fights because it's where all of these players do huddle up, and we are going to see the chase down come on through. Yogurt, unfortunately, getting hit into a little bit of Specklate, finds a lovely parry into the Nezhas, but that is going to be the Zai utilizing the F1 that we know Fanzhou has in play, not the F3, to get the combo breaker, and as a result, escape all of the punishment for it. Ferrier able to land the mech, will be able to hop into the pillar and use one of those boosters to drop away, disengage from the fight, and potentially set up one of those health restores. We will be able to see one go through. Hasn't been able to go for the cannon, has to go for the boosters to keep ahead of the situation as Numza, looking for the third party, comes in with a mech of their own, goes for the boosters to be able to hit some of those primaries before swapping over to the cannon and looking to find the stagger in the last seconds of that ultimate. 3 of their players, they've only got 1 minute 27 seconds. Adot does have that Hardy ultimate still. Hendrix going to be going for the Yushin ultimate as well. Numza dodging out of stone form instead of releasing it inside that 1v1. Retreats back, baits in the player towards his Yuashan, and as a result, we are going to see the Yushin ultimate providing all of the stagger. Numza will be able to utilize the cube provided by Adot to be able to reposition, but this fight is going incredibly long, Severio. All of these Transformer ultimates mean health reset, so no one has been able to claim any of these soul blooms or finish the fight fast enough to stop a potential third and fourth party from coming through. King finally goes down to Adot with that Hardy ultimate. That's 1 soul bloom now going to be secured. UHL still has his Yushin ultimate. Numza will be able to roll past one body and pick up a soul bloom and cleanse his depletion. Sits up into the F3, finds the silence connecting onto all of the players from RID, who's going to immediately have to go for the reposition, those fist blades, and all of the movement therein, carrying him around that tree to break line of sight and get a little bit of reset. Numza will be able to find a light kill onto UHL as well, and that should be his team having recovered in the dying lights. I believe when they got their soul blooms, they had about 20 seconds left for some of their players to cleanse Yang depletion.
Yeah, you know, RID, running down is having a tough break today. I mean, we've seen them perform in the scrims, top tier, going through, having eliminations at this point in the double digits. In some cases, scenarios, this is just maybe just a roundup of where they started out here. But meanwhile, we have Romy Yang victories coming through between either APFs with the BWG squad or maybe with Rats. We'll have to see, because this is going to be a moniker of damage coming out from Rats. F2 staggers potential, but you know, Fist Blades Matari, it's synonymous with just danger zone. APF, though, takes himself through. King Cobalt turning this one around. This is going to be where BWG coming out, where King Cobalt looking to use those F2s, and now it's going to be a 2v2 teleportation double hit R&B. Looking for another one, not going to happen. He's looking for the Rampage. It's going to be released here. They're going to be looking for the F2, maybe perhaps for the R&B. The teleport was clean. The Mortar of Defiance is Brock, and King Cobalt is looking to try to get this F2 kill. He can cancel ultimate and get another F2 charge if he needs to take the emergency ultimate here, cancel, but he ain't doing it. There it is. Charges it up. Looks for Tryhard. It's going to be a 1v2, and the F3 to kind of deny the spacing between the two. Catches an R&B from Raven, and that's going to be the whole tech that they're taking towards this. And this is going to be a victory they've been looking for. Out of 11 eliminations, they're going to catch another buff into play. It's probably going to be a Mystic Might, or even taking the White Tiger's prowess. This comp really revolves around taking the offensive capabilities of it. But we've seen Mystic Might being picked up in round 2 last round. Let's take a look and see what they're going to pick up. It's going to be the WTP for the White Tigers prowess, and now it's going to be a fight between QNT and PF.
Yeah, on the outskirts of Celestra, we are going to see Noms' team still sitting. They don't have that usual ultimate. Hendrix, unfortunately, I think utilized it a little bit prior, and as a result does not have the health reset. Seems like the call is just going for to disengage entirely. They know that Yang depletion is just going to be affecting some of these teams, that a lot of them are going to start moving over towards Celestra, and as a result, they do not want to get caught in a position where they can get third-partied. Especially with Numza wing with those 13,500 Darktide coins, it's probably going to be a reposition over towards a shop to be able to pick up either Soul Jades or refresh some of those resources, as one of those teams who has Yang depletion is going to be Kin Kobold's side. 4 minutes for them to be able to pick up 3 Soul Blooms. Are they going to be able to find any teams in the area? I think, well, the Valiant Challenger scroll is there. We just saw it on the left side. Unfortunately, that doesn't give the same information that a bounty scroll does. You do still have to be in the vicinity of players to be able to get that semi-mystic might light buff to come through. That being said, they should know that there's a player inside Celestial with the bell being wrong. Tryhard not going to be able to get in with the F3, unfortunately. Does hit into the Tessa V1 3-second enchantment stun window. Unfortunately, however, the Tessa team was not able to capitalize, as it is going to be the spacing just provided with the Tessa ultimate to set up for the Wu-Chen reposition, as BWG threatening the space with that Zai ultimate, going to be pushing everyone else away from them, which is in some ways good because it means that they don't get third-partied, but it is a little bit problematic because it means that they're not really getting the kills to come their way. One thing that Crazy N's team was doing both in Game 1 and Game 2 was they were making sure that they were having all of these aggressive plays for the entire duration of the round. So even if they were not the last team standing, they had enough kills to still secure MVP. And as we talked about at the beginning of this game, so many of the kills have been split to so many different teams. MVP is not determined. They need to keep up the aggression all the way through as a result. And LYM are definitely going to be keeping the kills going, because that is Aurora Burst going to be absolutely cast on repeat, coming on through from you directly in the center. We saw it once, we saw it twice, now we get to see it a third time. As unfortunately, oh, that's a fourth. It's just Sesame Street. Count them up with me, Serve, and count the kills that come alongside it.
3 eliminations. Mamma mia. You know, it's crazy. It's one thing that comes out. It can't. It comes out towards Mama to actually get those eliminations. Look at the amount of gold they just earned from those eliminations. They're going to have 60k gold plus right now on standby to go to the shop and hold on for it. But Aurora Burst spam with that Matara, we've seen it in round 1. We're back here for round 3 for it. And now it's going to be a chance for EMO's Vegan to try to go through here. No prompt, just straight damage. And Ellie's going to be going ahead and getting themselves eliminated. It's going to be a common armor that this Matari is holding on to. So if we can get a better armor right now, that'd be great. Because right then and there, you can see over towards the Artisan's Grove, LYM are still under combative efforts. New squad, the Crazy N, they are right there in the vicinity. But they ain't taking this fight. They see RID Yogurt probably looking to try to contest that character to be eliminated for the remainder of this round. Who knows? We got 10 minutes under remaining for this team. 8 eliminations LYM has taken into this squad. And of course, we still have 18 players total alive into the entirety. Now, ADOT looking to try to contest this pressure, putting them into the Artisan's Grove is going to show PF's contempt of knowing that this team has a lot to offer for them. Purple armor? Yes, we'll take that, please. Any purple weapons and greater, we'll also take that. But the problem is, Forbidden Seal like that right there, that Forbidden Seal could turn around the tides of this fight. And I think right then and there, you can see LYM take the initiation of activating it. This is now going to see about putting out a beacon of a blueberry on the map. Everyone can see, and they want to take a piece of that action of trying to eat what the blueberry got. The parfait is already served out here. It's for dessert. Psych. Sorry. You're going to have to wait that one out here. You got to eat your dinner first, because we still have around 9 minutes left before we enter into that second to last Moonbane and then into the Spearwell with the remaining players left alive.
You have to remember, as well, like LYM, they do have that Aurora Burst, so it's very easy to see like why they're trying to attract as many players as possible into just openly taking a fight against them. Things like the Forbidden Seal, things like the Valiant Challenge, right? Making sure that they are just showcasing their position to every single player. And you can see BWG have been drawn by the prospect of the Forbidden Seal. They are coming out, they want to check out, why did this go down? is the team still in the air? Can we capitalize on this moment? Because they know in terms of scoring, they know in terms of overall standings, that Crazy N is still ahead of them by a fair margin. And they need to keep the aggression going. If they can find isolated kills against some of these players, or even look to third party in with that Zai, with that V2, then they're going to be in a really good position to be able to find kills very, very quickly off of that. As it is going to be the Aeromech trying to control the positioning so that they can pick up that Spirit Well. Raven PLZ going to be coming in with the Merciless Havoc, so they've opted for the Legendary Sword Head for the staff to come on for, rather than Aurora Burst, a little bit more range, a little bit more distance, and also a whole lot of knockback that can be incredibly strong in being able to turn either into a Spirit Well contest, or indeed when you go into the later ends of this map, we'll get to see it being turned against some of those players who are a little bit closer to the corruption tick to push them into eating all of that dot damage. As in the meantime, no one is really wanting to play super aggressively at the moment. No one wants to go down before we hit the top 5, saying that LYM, we talked about it, they want the aggression to continue. They have the soldiers to keep that aggression continuing. And no surprises, the one team that is taking a fight is going to be that squad. Lanzi's Potato off screen is going to go down to the halberds, but you have to, of course, remember that it was probably helped and set up in large part by the Aurora Burst, equipped by that Matari.
Yeah, LYM's like, I want all the smoke, I want all the action, I want to take it there, you know, I'm gonna fight everyone around me, you know, 360 punches here and there. And the thing is that they take these eliminations, they can just secure any amount of gear they can catch before no one decides to want to fight, right? They can take the aggression, they'll earn it to themselves. The only problem is, like you mentioned this earlier, you fight it out, players are going to look at the kill feed and see someone's dying. And I'm going to look towards and seeing about where those players are fighting in the vicinity, because I ain't seen it south. So let me head up north. And this is where they are. This is where LYM is. And they're taking a look to try to look for those pot shots with these bows. Double gold armor. Pretty sure they got gold weapons on standby. Yeah, there's a gold staff holding it down there for the team. Now here's going to come out here for the Viper ultimate. This is going to be a big Moonbane. This is against Big. Big has ultimate cast to come through here. But will it be necessary in just a moment? I don't know. He's not going to pick up the solo. Oh, looks like the musket shot's coming in for the backline as Big is going to be focused down here for the new squad. Crazy N having this teammate. This is going to be their only... They only have one elimination so far. Now they look for a melee grab. They catch you. Look for the shots. Line it up. Tries to attempt for a double grab. Tries to go for it again. Can't get the slam down as a result. But Moonbane, avoids it. Nicely done. Now we look for the melee grab. Catches it. What are you doing going back in the face of Danger Dog? It's going to be time, because now this team takes full prioritization off of this grab. They would have been able to do it, but since we lost B in the thick of things, there's nothing that Crazy N can really do here. And there's nothing that Big, even with a double grab in this case scenario, could achieve with that outright. Crazy N having only one teammate, I believe, left alive. Yes, it is. It's going to still stay through until now. Crouch on the B. But Yostoma being the one that's getting eliminated, I'm curious to see BWG arriving to the third party. Moxie, this is going to be an ult for ult situation.
Could potentially be. LYM still have the Aurora Burst in their back pocket. So too does Elching still have that Zai V2 that's absolutely shredding for all of those players, lines them up perfectly. The stagger allowing a full 3 plays connected by the F3. However, here's that Merciless Havoc coming on out. And Elching, as a result, is kept airborne for BWG to be able to catch on to. Stoneform going to be hit into with the Greatsword. Tryhard just putting a little bit of pressure to keep and provide BWG enough downtime to look for a little bit of reset. There's the Karumi Tava so that they can start going through the bodies that have been dropped in this particular area. Who exactly is still fighting? APF has been spotted out by ADOD's team. We are going to see only a little momentary reprieve as Tryhard immediately backs on up, throws out the charged horizontal on that longsword to buy his team the spacing and set up for Raven to hit into another Merciless Havoc into the bow shot follow-up before Nomza can get into that stand animation. There's the Aurora Burst coming on through. Hendrix's team have it too, and as a result, you can see the spacing that BWG is now taking. No one is going aggressively into this team. Instead, it is horizontal hits from the charge of the longsword and cannon fire, as they do not want to gap close and find themselves getting silenced. That is one of the huge benefits of Merciless Havoc into Aurora Burst. The distance of Merciless Havoc is so far that it takes you out of Aurora Burst's AoE effect. And as a result, if there is any soldier that you want to try and go head-to-head with the Hang Swords, Merciless Havoc is definitely one of the only few. APF has also been able to pick himself up an Aurora Burst, probably off of one of the players from LYM who went down. So we know that there are 2 Aurora Bursts currently in play. Raven is now going to get jumped upon. However, it is APF's Aurora Burst who comes out first into the Merciless Havoc follow-up from Raven. And as a result, ADOT, Numza, and Hendrix, all 3 of them get swept entirely off of the board. As this is just CC into CC. BWG are turning all of the players left in this lobby into chew toys and passing it one by one around each of their players.
This is tough right now, but it's going to be the final 3 teams, actually, I think, coming out here. PP Love going to be going ahead having the V1 stun. Not going to have any sort of value off of it. This is not going to be a Jade game, and this is going to be the final seconds in the round of what you're going to be realizing. And there's going to be the first set of eliminations. This is going to be 19 to 20 eliminations. 20 bomb. This is exactly what BWG needed, considering where we have been standing here from rounds 1 through 2. Now 3 has concluded. And this is that catch-up game that they were for. Starting right through from the gate, we're going to see a City Tong spawn, Med top spawn, Grizzly Rise for the fights over there. It's an interesting choice. We like to see those boxes get broken for the gold, because that's exactly what's happening here. Saying you could be looking ahead and getting caught by the Wisp throw, playing out the Waste Sean. And of course, looking to try to space this one out here. You're going to try to go ahead and back off and try to get a reset off of one baby. Vitality can't do it. Got to get more space between the teammates. Teams the armor on the distance and goes to sides. Let's go regroup over here. BWG, though, they're taking the fights against Ellie right now. AS taking a chance against Lanzi. Going to go ahead for that third-party opportunity. There's going to be F3 to knock back APF. APF not going to have any combo breaker. The F3 skill coming out here from the Various Shen. And of course, you love to see how much this kind of chase comes through. R&B's spammed out, saying we go to look for the jump LMB. And as it comes out into the wall of the fence, he saw that turnaround. He gets almost caught, but he might be denied here for a horizontal release. Nope, he gets it. Otata goes down. The Soul Bloom is picked up for the Wei Sean. And they're not stopping this fight. Very hard to find the Hottie ultimate to be ready. We'll take a look and see if he's going to be able to come back here for some revenge.
Oh, Kurumi's trying to find the revive. Teva comes out, but as a result, Xiaoyu is not able to send any attack. Otherwise, that would break prematurely. As it is going to be Xiaolo taking a lot of pressure coming on through. Sangyu also losing all of that great armor reset that he was able to find. Hops into the tent, closes up the distance. Thor releases in with the vertical on that longsword. Will be able to take down APF. As a result, finds the power on to try hard as well. Forces the combo breaker from the Hardy before catching him with another charge. Vertical goes for the jump horizontal. Doesn't manage to find the parry, but uses the combo breaker and the F ability to be able to avoid hitting the damage on that focus strike. And as a result, will be able to deal both with the Hardy and then retrace the steps to pick up their former teammate before Rebirth Charms are going to be invested. As we get to QNT and EMEO going head-to-head. Koala with that Hang Sword looking to try and chase down some of these players. Is he going to be able to close up the distance and take down Vegan? It's taking a lot of damage now coming through. Holds the focus. Will not be able to avoid taking all of the damage from the staff. As a result, Zai Ultimate is going to be coming on through as well. And we're going to see now Cat with that Matari Ultimate getting the attack increase into the thrust. Lines it up. Connects directly onto Kishi. Gets another thrust now connecting onto Casper, knocking him immediately to the ground to follow up and forcing that immediate reposition. And Casper's just going to be on the run. WDDH mobilizing and trying to chase him down. Hardy in flight. Going to be able to connect the triple charge onto the players on the rooftop. Cat charging up the thrust. Doesn't manage to find the connection this time around. But it is able to put themselves onto the rooftop to go for the chase downs with the horizontal jumps from that staff.
You know, Cat making it look easy, you know, and sometimes it comes through. You see the thrust into the teleport with the V2 and just capturing a neutral right there against Cat. I mean, it's kind of tough to see, you know, when Mitaris make it look easy and then you're doing it yourself, and you're like, yeah, this is, yep, okay, oh, misinput, you know, and then all of a sudden you're going through and popping the skills like water, and it just runs out like that. And just trying to get as much efficiency out of the skills as much as possible, or looking to try to preserve as much as you have on standby. This comes through. Now, into the Northwestern Barracks, we are going to see Rats' team all sad. In Cobalt, and now I think that's a swap out for one of the boys. Now Maladuji is going to be coming through here for the round here to sweep in for the team's third slot. 3 eliminations so far for party number 3. Now Rats takes his time of just trying to rotate through here. He's got F3, V2. Has 7 grapples, has to be careful about how much he's going to go forth and investing into it, because a close quarter fight would be his best case scenario. Now, as this team is looking towards Northwestern Barracks, we know that Grizzly Rise has been a fight, you know, at the Thunderdome for a lot of players that are over there. They could be spawning and making rotations here and there, but it's up to the decision making on their, you know, top of the first slot to try to decide upon making that decision. Now, this team having to go ahead, having a little bit of gold to work with, are going to buy supplies as a result. You can see the grapples being purchased here from Rats as he's going through for it. But more importantly, 3 minutes time, we're going to have the Roman Yang. Our teams between Medtop, I'm very curious to seeing how City of Tang / Medtop has been going through for these past couple of minutes, because we saw both of those spawns going in, and Medtop is a flurry of action. You know, the multi-level system that the Central Sun and Moon Temple can come forth. It's kind of a mixed bag of feelings for a lot of players. If they miss a target off of a grapple, well, guess what? You know, now that person is already gone. They could take a scare rush path that makes it so that kiting is like a second hand in the back of their hand type motion.
Yeah, Celestia 2.0. I'm really interested to see where RID are in terms of the pecking order when it comes to kit, because I believe they were the ones who were the only team that dropped into Salvation Podium, so they've probably actually been able to pick themselves up a nice little legendary before anyone else can get their hands onto it. We are going to see no Realm of Yang fight, but the fight in the overworld is going to be Tumult Ultimate being invested. However, Rats on the side does not have to worry about it. Comes in with all of the F3 resets and is still able to utilize those chain whips to be able to go through the Tumult Wind Wall. As a result, still controlling a lot of the spacing. Numza not going to be able to find the opening to go for the fan charge vertical, and as a result actually gets pushed up into the alpha cut, and Rats is able to set up another fire cone tick. Doesn't throw out the focus strike. Rats did look for the parry, will not be able to find it. Takeda going to be utilizing that opportunity now to just reposition Kite out as the Zai ultimate burns on down. Rats now past that 30 seconds, will not be able to have those chain whips to be able to keep up the pressure, nor the fire tick applying all of that constant damage as the fight continues, and the Takeda should be able to break away as we head over into Imperial, and we get to see Run It Down. Not seeing a legendary weapon on the side of Yogurt. King unfortunately has already gone down. UHL also taking a lot of pressure. Yogurt down that mech. Not going to be able to find the opening with the F3 either that he was looking for, as being hunted by the players of AS. Did activate the trap clip as he got away from the back end of that tent, and as a result it is going to catch onto Jiao Lu and provide all of the walls on where this barrier is going to be, as well as giving him a little bit more time to go for the reset and get his players back into the mix. Teleport now already going to be forced from that Hardy. Unfortunately, he is going to be interrupted before he can look for the full chase down, as this is a lot of pressure. Grapple into horizontal, into F3. Now going to be coming through, as Sang Yu is going to walk into that one and take all of the damage. Finally does go down, already being able to find that kill, charges up another of those skill rushes, looking to keep the pressure up onto the aerial targets before having lost the armor, putting himself back away from the fight, getting a little bit of a reset. As we now look at King, who's going to be going for his Hardy ultimate. Incredibly long drawn-out fight here, Silverio. I am very surprised that this has not been third-partied. Imperial is one of the typical rotations that a lot of teams make, especially when we head into the stages of the round. King taking a lot of damage, is going to be grounded temporarily and then placed 6 feet further under, as EMO's Vegan will be able to take him down with the fist blades, and that should be a little bit of a lull in the fight for what lasted an incredibly long time.
Yeah, and it dies down really quickly. I mean, EMO just come through here, and, you know, King was trying to buy out time as much as he could for getting his ultimate ready for the teleporter, but Theron, you know, EMO finding their first elimination there, kind of warranting towards this chase and seeing about where they go next. Obviously, Roman Yangs are spawning here. You can hear Kaka in the background chopping through here as Sunwing drops through here. And we have teams wanting to be eager to enter. I want to know, what is the other team rock? What we got? Okay, so Crazy N, purple armor across the board. They're looking fly, you know, as a butterfly. They're going to go ahead and have level 2 Takeda V3, so that's 4 slashes for Fury Blast if the activated ultimates come down, and he's got fist plates to boot. We were just talking about this, and now it's going to be coming out to Takeda here, dropping from the sky with the F1. Now, no blues can be thrown in his direction because they're going to get caught on the somersault, and they're not going to be prepared for that. But the tether is going to be active for just a couple of seconds. It's going to be activated for the F3 for the 90% reduction. Now, of course, there's kicks. toes to the nose coming through here from New Big. And of course, you got to be very careful about whether or not the spear swap is going to be more beneficial than the fist blades. For now, this is where New Big is just using it just to catch any sort of R&Bs and dashing away, using as much energy stamina here as much as possible. But Rats getting himself a little bit more aggressive here. He's got ultimate active. He got Dragon Slayer coming out. Oh my goodness, King Cobalt just took a full blue focus to the face. Now the cleanse is at the most opportune moment. Another Dragon Slayer. Rats can't catch a break, and there's going to be 3-squad wipe.
Oh.
Crazy Yen forcing out the hands of their opponents into now Rummy depletion. We still have other fights. EMO take their Rummy fight just recently. We just saw them in Imperial Village. Their opponents are going to be QNT. Casper is an ult format, just keeping the Hadi element in play for the offensive position, but Vegan utilizing lever tech, having a little bit of conservation rage. He's going to have his ult up in just a couple of seconds here after a little bit of damage dealt from him. Format, he's inside of the Fairy Shed mech for now, while Kishi's getting pressured outside of it, having around 10 seconds left to make 3 shots count here for level 3 charges. Getting some armor regen before he disengages. There's first cannon shot, second cannon shot, the third one. It hits all 3 for the marks for the common ones, but there's going to be Kishi coming in though with the F3, potentially just stopping any ground units. He finds an R&B spam coming from the fan, and now it's going to be Kishi looking to try to throw the R&Bs as much as possible. The F3 shots is avoided. You can see it. EMO looking to try to go for this fight here with EMO looking for the distance to be distance away from their Farius Shed. They regroup in the blink of an eye, but there is the kill elimination. Yustoma goes down. Going to be a 2v3. QNT taking this into their own match. Their hands just rotating here, keeping the kiting going against the enemy Hadi. You can see it coming out from Vegan. Here he goes. He's swiping for number 2. He's looking for the swipe number 3. He finds Kishi down into the count. It's going to be a Casper with the poke damage coming in here for a 1v2 situation. Has F2 ready to go. Doesn't get the jump parry, and with it, R&Bs are released. We got Koala still left on the board. There's the swings coming out, and now it's going to be EMO making it happen through their victories, catching another set of 3 eliminations, now up to 4, and Roaming victory with buff to boot.
That is really big for the Aeromech team, because now they get one of those armor upgrades immediately as heading on over to the outside of the world. We can see a Xiphon competition going head-to-head with an Aeromech Yang Yan. Immediately going to be repositioning away from that Xi V2, just trying to kite out before the 30 seconds have done. Repositions, charges up the pole sword, doesn't manage to get out of the full range of the chain side though, before he gets hit into the fire cone tick again! They hit him into stone form and he has absolutely no choice. Goes down to both the fire tick and all of the reduced damage off of that same stone form chip. As Rat's now taking a lot of pressure coming on for dodges away from the Yushan. Gets hit up into the sky, however, and will be taken down eventually by RID's Yogurt, would come in for that third party carrier mech, making it even harder for King Cobalt's team to be able to maneuver around this fight. The F3 connects onto the disengaging King Cobalt, and as a result, it is just going to be the chase down that Yogurt has allowed for his 2 players. Sees the King Cobalt, tries to go into City of Tang, loses sight of where the player actually is. Do they know that King Cobalt is actually on the shelf directly above their heads? Because Yogurt has checked literally every single angle except the one that King Cobalt was actually on. You can see on the minimap, King Cobalt has not moved an inch for fear of being spotted, as all of the players of Run It Down are still looking inside City of Tang. They haven't found King Cobalt, they found another player entirely, and as a result, their attention has been diverted.
Yeah, King Cobalt, you know, living in the rafters, no one sees it, and it's, oh, okay, I'm gone. I'm set. He's still in there.
He's still there.
He's still chilling out. He's still chilling, bro. Hey, you know, rent's due. You know, I'm gonna pull up the money because he's taking all the opportunity into that tower. It could make it his home. That's why we got the rights. But with everything coming into play, we got our players just rotating around to the forest lines. City of Tong gonna be ending out here for the zone as it's closing away from his kin, still and sitting in there. But once that zone clicks in, he's probably gonna take the time right now would be the best. Just disengage from that area. Dodo, though, north of where RID/R Run It Down are located, actually spotting into the zone here. I'm not sure Run It Down actually heard him running past Numza as well. I don't know if that's a Rumble Yang depletion just to kill off them through the zone, but they are running through the zone. Yeah, and he's cooked right now for a little bit of seconds. There's the F3 shot. Fist blades in action, but once those staggers come out, gold F skills, everything in the nature, there's nothing you can really do, especially the team of 3. And the F3 shot from Yogurt as well to confirm it. This is going to be their 4th elimination. Poison Splash is procking away. They're taking a little bit of health damage, or may not rather not take, but here's Rats. Throwing a wild haymaker horizontal blue focus. I sense it. I see the vision. F3 comes out here, opposite direction to go into the zone. Rat's still looking to try to go ahead and force these guys in. They're not. Now they're confused. Why are we taking the fight in the zone? And why are you guys in the zone in the first place? The Rats, though, finds Num's elimination on the board. Look for the Soul Bloom. There's going to be the army from the Pole Sword. That's Purple Rarity coming through here. Now there's going to be the Hottie Ultimate coming into play. Of course, UHL looking to look for it. 1, 2, 3. He's not going to release it. Not going to be able to with that clank coming in from Rats' blue. So where's all the damage coming out here? There it is. Got LMB. UHL getting caught by the fan. RMB's back-to-back is going to try to get his ultimate online, as this is going to be the last chance that Run It Down can take to get these guys out here without risk of the ultimate, or rather from the zone. And Rat's going to be the only one left of the team. He's going to be running into the zone. I think zone take damage won't do much for them here. We are entering from the Shadow 2. But at the end of the day, Salvation Podium is where Rat's going to end up. And we got Romy Yang 2 to look forward to.
Oh, he's running into AS's players, though. Unfortunately, we're looking at BWG, as APF had previously gone down. Tryhard now is going to be getting felled by QNT's Kishi coming through with that fan Raven. Going to be in full rotation mode trying to recover. For the teams, we do have the next round of Yang iterations coming on out. A lot of these teams not in a position to be able to take them. These two teams, however, made sure that they were Siphon composition. Going to be up against Hardy. I believe that is just traditional Aero Mech coming on through, as it is going to be Plan B on the outskirts with this longsword. Fairy Mech immediately going to be hopped into Phoenix Blast from that longsword. Zai gets turned onto by the cannon shots coming on through. It's going to be getting hunted down as well if reutilized to reposition behind those pillars. Still loses all of the armor, is crucially holding on to that V2 though, as well as the Kurumi armor circle. Still going to be in play. There's the V2 activation to get an extra F3 to reposition away from the horizontal hit of that pole sword. Kurumi now gives the tether, allows the 90% damage reduction. Plan B going to be pushed by the Yushin ultimate out of the Kurumi circle. Will still be able to reposition back into it. Hardy ultimate now comes on through. Plan B looking for the chase, trying to find the damage necessary to be able to ground the Hardy temporarily. As unfortunately for all of this, hasn't been able to go in with the fire tick once because of this Yushin ultimate doing a very good job of keeping the Zai staggered before we're ready to go into the fire tick. Unfortunately, by just trying to play keep away with the Zai, EMEO's players were not actually able to get damage necessary past all of the Kurumi sustained resources. And yes, they didn't die to the slow burn of that Zai ultimate, but they just didn't have any damage to keep the fight even, and died in neutral instead.
Yeah, and it's a lot of damage that comes through there. I mean, just keeping track of it's going to be also in part with it. You know, it's tough because, you know, Wei Shan, you think he's like, oh, he's got a lot of HP now once I enter ult form, but then all of a sudden you're taking, you know, R&B blue. That's a quarter of your health bar at that point. So now you got to take that into consideration. Hottie getting caught by the F3 Zai is kind of the staple moment of how well you can throw it out there. But we do see chases out here into the snow line. WDDH out of the victory in the Romy Yang. They got themselves looking towards and just making sure they can go straight towards Ice Lake, seeing what's up at Ice Shard Lake just to see who is in the vicinity. Now, as I stated, EMO, they're the ones in the vicinity. They got gold weapon. And not only that, they got 2 gold weapons counted to the rings. And they're going to be looking to try to get the high ground here. We can see that that bell has been struck, whether or not they've been spotted or not. WDDH make their chances to make to the shop as fast as possible, purchasing out any supplies. They got a plethora of Dark Tide coins to make it through. And with their White Tiger's prowess, one other thing to note, right, is that players in the vicinity, they'll see the aura around their screen, they got to walk away. Just walk away. You know, because you know a team is hunting you down, or rather they're just passing by and you just don't realize that you're there until they hear a grapple from you. Then that's where dangerous things come to pass. But EMO, Servant's Pass, that's the next thing that's going to be coming through here, because you see Stars, he got himself into an RB spam with dual Howards, but he's got to be careful. He's got to be very mindful about the opportunity here for a teammate from QNT. They've been parry heavy very quickly, very soon. And there's going to be Stars taking a lot of damage here from the single blue focus. Is getting a lot of damage. He got himself to get eliminated. Kishi with the jabbing. It's going to be the elimination that they need. One of the soul blues to be picked up here. QNT looking to try to go ahead and try to find themselves for that various Shen Beacon. Cannon shots are coming out here. Lock down that lock down the Hottie, I should say, while the other area Shen just denying Kishi of any cannon form, decides to fly around, catches some cannon shots. He's ready to go for 3. He's knocking back this very Shen and knowing that he can just keep that bar going through. Keeps a shot, lining up against Vegan, who's inside the building. Now he can't do anything about it. Has to keep eyes to the left because you never know. That team can just chop right then, and he's going to let the team know, keep the communication line open. Always let the comms be open for them to understand that there is another team showing up to this vicinity. that they're ready to escape on a fly.
I mean, look at their armor as well. Like, with the loot that QNT has, they have to be so aware of the potential third party. They're fine with utilizing the Farrier mech as well because they've got a Firefly cage right there, and they'll be able to get Kishi's ultimate online in no time at all. Unfortunately, it does look like XGN are going to be offline for a little bit longer. Oni does go down. I'm not sure if that was their last player, and if the squad is out entirely, given the positioning that the kill went for. I would assume it's either, yeah, actually there's one body there. As well, I would assume that is probably XGN. Knocked out until we head into game number 5 for the day. It is occupying NewNew's team, however, a little bit further away from where the rest of the players and teams have rotated to. LYM are going to lose L-Chain, potentially getting brought back by a Rebirth Charm. As Crazy Ends team are going to start looking to see if they can find some of these players, but like I said, no one's on that aspect of the map. Everyone is over on the other half entirely. WDDH are able to pick up one of EMEO's players. You can see ADOT incredibly low, just going by. Not sure if they got spotted out. Might have come through from one of those portals up from Ruins. As it is going to be Kishi on the screen there temporarily too. So QNT still in this area. Now they're going to be taking the fight directly against WDDH. Casper is the one who's going to make the first move. Matari F2 lines up to find that first. Kishi incredibly low, has to immediately drop in with the pillar onto the mech. Flame and I gets brought out from Cat. Not quite sure if the boosters were in time. Looks like they were to prevent the fire tick from accumulating through the mech, helping directly onto the Farrier. And this Flamer is going to force Kishi out of the mech, or he's going to die alongside it, roasted in an oven of his own making. WDDH's Cat with that Flamer just being such an instrument of havoc. The Frost as well, recontrolling all of that space, repositioning the Matari towards the outskirts of this map, understanding that that burst uptime has gone. The fight has gone on too long. They weren't able to lock down the kill onto the Farrier. They do not want to get caught fighting on the low ground, and especially when the third party potentially comes through from all of the teams in the area, given the fact that BWG have rolled up to the scene as well. We're going to see Run It Down's Yoga just putting a little bit of pressure onto Raven inside that Farrier mech to force him away, having swapped over to the bow before now going for the melee in with the Hang Sword, trying to close up the distance. Potentially come through catching out some of these players on the low ground. It's incredibly easy though for these players to be able to kite around the base of Ballista Tower. That being said, Raven went for the low ground, and it does look like he's been caught out by Run It Down's players. I'm not sure if Raven was the only one. Yes, Tryhard is still unmoving on the mini-map. It does look like Raven was not able to recover either him or APF, and as a result, BWG are going to be out as heading over. NewNew have been able to reposition where everyone else is. King Cobalt spotted out this time, not in the rafters, but at the very top of the tree. Is gonna go down to the horizontal off of the grapple connection. Closer. That big on this Takeda is using Fury and shoves into there. It is the RMBs on those fist plates, just doing so much work.
Yeah, dude. It's such a what a movement, you know? I love the animation. It's great. And everyone gets caught in between. And that's where the beauty of it lies within. Big gonna be making sure that new squad can be keeping this one through. There's the F1 investment, but everyone gets frozen here. This is no one's territory any longer. Now it's up to New Big to try to look for the rotation out here. Kind of tough to see a Phoenix Blast behind you. What are you gonna do about it in the face of danger? You're gonna have to really just rotate around here, because if he gets caught out here, they're gonna lose out a huge damage spike. He's got 55% on rage, 60 now. Take a little bit of rage damage. He's gonna be looking to get caught by an R&B blue focus release, and he's trying to double grab, get a Kurumi ultimate up online, get this man some HP. He is trying to get himself away from this pressure, but his eyes just don't let up. And there's going to be enough chances for Big to try to get a heal off here in the face of all of this violence. Martial art will form. Hook taking its release. R&B double kick, jump LMB. That's immediate elimination that QNT Kishi takes instead of the new Crazy End squad. And of course, Big gets caught by that blue focus, gets caught with Harry, loses his fist blades, has it right there on the ground, and now he's ready to go and rumbling as if he's in a boxing match. He's gonna go ahead and find any targets he can just showcase his aura of tenacity and pushing him in the face of danger. But no one wants to take this fight against Takeda, and it's warranted. You never want to take this fight. You know, even the they're low. You know, no. Takeda has more fury and healing off of V3 than any other version of his ultimate. So
here comes the shot.
That being said, Gonna be coming out. R&B, spear right there in the face of danger. Another R&B, but with the ultimate mitigation that Kishi just took for casting ultimate. Guess what, Casper, you're next. But he's got to run away. And there's the F1 skill coming out here. No more Furins available for Crazy Ends. Takeda, now New Big's not gonna look to try to go ahead and rotate around. He sees Koala. He's like, wait a second, I thought that was, and then now has to back off here, has to fist plays, has to look toward the Moonbane, because this could be the next set of where players are going to have to split across one another.
Yeah, but the Kurumi's got the Tava, so the Smolch and the Kurumi will both be able to reposition back to the Takeda safely. I'm telling you, if that was the Z-Ping rather than a Kurumi for the side of Crazy, and that fight happens entirely differently. That Takeda just goes up in a puff of smoke. Because the V2 was there, but so too was the Zai V2. For the team that they were fighting, and like that was just the continued pressure. Like the Zai was trying to use the V2 to keep the Takeda out of the armor circle for as long as possible, but the Takeda just kept dodging the train sives and then going back into the armor circle and getting all of that armor just rebuilt incredibly quickly. Really good pathing, really good rotations, and very good peel coming through from Crazy End's team to keep that damage hyper carry alive and in the fight long enough to live for the 30 seconds duration of that Zai ultimate. Now we're going to get to see another Kurumi Tava, enabling the forward aggression coming out from Crazy End's team. It is going to be the Fairy F3 connecting onto Niu's Big, so a little bit longer of downtime before they can ready up and take the fight the way that they want to. WDH's Cat, unfortunately, the only player who's going to be left alive for this team, has the Fist Blades, is also on the Mitari, so will be able to keep themselves alive a little bit longer. Especially with that legendary armor, making it even harder for these players to be able to pin them down the F2 variant rather than the F1 as well. So no 2 charges, but still the ability to try and close up some of the distance and potentially steal some of these kills away. Dragon Slayer's not going to be committed by UHL, instead he's going to utilize his F ability to break away from the fight so that he can get his animation off for that ultimate without going down mid-cast. Now with the spear in hand, comes back into the fight, looks to set up some of these staggers onto the side of Crazy Ed, and it is going to be one of them that's pushed against the wall. Corruption 6 damage means that UHL does have to reposition, is going to utilize that F ability to peel for himself and his team players as well, as off of the back of that run-in with that Yushin ultimate, they are able to find the elimination onto one of the players from Crazy End's team. That being said, there's the Matari. We said don't take your eyes off of her. Lore accurate Matari, stealth nat 20, checks out and checks the kill in.
Man, Cat just really made it happen, huh? And having all the opportunity there, just a sneaky sneak with that teleport R&B release. They get the res, so UHL is still in the game, still has an opportunity here. But now look at it. Cat just wants to go on the offensive. I'm for it. I'm for it. We W key out here. And apparently Cat wants to take that to the full extension, so 110%. They're the final team, and they got 16 eliminations. Scratch that, 17 because of that elimination they got killed. But another thing too is that this caused a disturbance between the players, right? They're like, wait, who, what? You know what? Let's go in that direction. Looks like there's a fight happening over there, right? But then the guy just dips out, and now they're fighting. And look at this. The vicinity for placement just goes higher and higher for the Matari for that team to catch the multipliers that they need. And now Odo catching the 1-2-3s. We release those. And he's gonna get caught to the lead of drive, finds himself to figure out whether that Solum goes through. I'm curious though. He just has a solo and he got no armor back, or he's just not had no armor going through here. What's going on here? Because I'm looking at Dodo and I'm like, no armor. How about your armor? Because it looks like Numza, Hendrix are down, right? It is the case scenario, but Dodo gonna go ahead and healing up there. Yoga on the other hand, not looking too hot. 1-2-3s again. We released those, and Love is gonna be the one to do the dirty deed of doing so. 2 teammates left alive for Crazy End. They have 21 eliminations. This is top 4. If they get top 3, or at least they're going to have still to a 1.3 multiplier. And then all of a sudden, the turnarounds could be massive for game 5. Of course, New Big finds this 20-second elimination. PP Love looking to try to go ahead for the martial art will form hook. Doesn't get any hit confirmations. Go straight back towards the Kurumi circle. Cat just trying to instigate. Just keep instigating, dog. Keep it going. You're going to see another chance here for that the chance to work this one out. He's even got Flamebringer, bro.
Yeah. I mean, you know what? He had the Flamer. He used it against the Farrier team when Kishi was in the Farrier mech. But all of the traditional pacing that we see in Naraka Trios, that's all gone out of the window, and it's all because of this Matari. There's the Flamer on the low ground, going to be forcing all of the players above to escape the fire tick from that one, as PP Love does not have the Kurumi armor circle to be able to cleanse the effect. Hardy ultimate also in the mix. PP Love going to get the Tava on out so that he can look to reposition. As Koala takes to the rooftop, gets read. The Kurumi using the teleport to reposition back into the zone and away from the Yushan while looking to hunt down. Utilizes the F and the roar, gets out of the mech, comes in with the uppercut from the pole sword. Can't chase for more though, because it would just leave him too open. Tries to go into the building, sets up the scare rush, potentially looking to knock some of these players away. Will be able to use it both to hit damage and also reposition himself onto the treetop. Can't set Hubris on that shelf though, as it is going to be pressure from another player who is using a similar position. Has to go for the jump and keep on moving. As a result, PPL is able to actually keep themselves alive long enough for the armor circle to be able to cycle back on through. Throws out the Cheryl and Jade on the dual halberds. Gets to utilize all of the spacing. As a result, Kurumi Teva now comes on down, looking to find the revive onto Big before he burns out. Hops around the other side of that tree, cannot teleport away, otherwise the Teva will break prematurely before the revive can come through. Crucial to note as well, he does not have the armor circle. When he finds the revive onto his player, he's not going to immediately give them all of that resources to be able to keep themselves staying alive, and as a result, Big goes down almost immediately to both the corruption tick damage and also the pressure that's still going on from the two that are currently still alive. Smolch ultimate gets dropped, PPL directly in the middle of it, looking to try and send these players into the corruption tick. Damage gets stuck into the wisp and will get pushed out. And Koala with the Yushin ultimate gets the heal reset to be able to outlive everybody. And QNT will be the last team standing, but still, that they'd waited so long to show the strengths of Mitari that they would change her entirely during rework, and everything she did would be removed, as it does look like Elching is going to be removed from one life, potentially. Yep, there we go. Slap is going to be able to take them down and put them back into the Soul Altar, as they are going to wait to release to see whether or not this fight goes into the favor of their teammates. Yang Yang coming in with the parry off of that pole sword will be refereeing all of the players facing around them, sending in those verticals, catching onto Mama. And that is going to be AS very quickly picking up the full 3 kills, as it did look like BWG decided to take that gamble. They dropped onto Crazy N and unfortunately lost.
Yeah. I see in the kill phase, it's running through here. I don't want to look anymore. But the thing that comes out of it is, like you mentioned, we got to take the risk to get the gamble, because right now it's up to them to make sure that team doesn't have a great early game start. And for right now, we have to see where those spawns had occurred in the first place. But more so, QNT taking their time over to the city of Tong. And you can see the cannon shots coming out here. QNT Casper on the back line, but you can see Koala, man. He didn't care. He's going to go straight towards the front lines. Ishii inside of the building, having the utilization to try to get as much supplies before they decided to renegotiate the terms of surrender for the enemy team, right? Forcing out those fights. Having that Whistler like that is big, and Casper finding the elimination just like that. The solo is going to be picked up from Koala and taking away Rage as per second. Stars has that R&B focus on standby, and then comes the biggest play of all, catching this last solo, giving this Temi already for Koala. Can he get it? F-Twist is up, he's throwing it, he's in mid-air format, and he catches every single one of these targets for the energy deduction. Tianhai comes out from Kishi. Cat, you can see it on top of the broken wall down to the southwestern corner of the city of Tong. Big grab coming out. No R&B confirmation on DCRKK. Gets caught into the secondary grab. And look at that Cat. Drops from the sky below to protect his teammate in a time of need, and just going ahead and just releasing blue focuses, and everything comes out towards Kishi, where he's like, well, I guess I can't really do much here. 10 seconds left on the duration, and he's going to be trying to find DCRKK, but look, this plays Cat, teleportation right behind you, bro. Can't look anything towards that. Looks for the melee, a stomp to the face of danger. F1 invested immediately with the F2 getting that little bit of heal back. R&B kicks to the toes to the nose. I swear, it's going to be a tough point for Kishi's team to make this through, because QNT has had to go through and try to confirm DCRKK's demise, but having the support line like that, not being able to catch any range shots, comes through for PF. Maybe take this into their own stead.
Yeah, however, it is going to swing into the favor of the third party, as here comes Nomza's squad coming on through, getting all of these kills onto the players of WDDH who did not have that Matari, and were not going to be able to find the sustain necessary to set up their Zai for success. It's going to be a Bainsworth getting dropped. This is going to be on the side of AS's team, who also show up for the third party. They're running the Justina variant of the Tianhai and Tumulch composition. And as a result, the third partying is going to be incredibly strong from them. All of the AoE splash damage going to be locking these players into these spaces, allowing for them to try and find some of these grabs if the ultimate does come online. Zping Gonna kite inside that building to be able to scare rush out above the Tianhai's head, reconvening with the rest of the team and away from where that Bane's Ref has been placed, taking the fight into the more open space. So if we do see the Tumult and the Tianhai go for those transformations and drops of the Hurricane, they're not going to be able to lock down the players the way that they would if it was still progressing inside City of Tang. As Yang Lan gets a absolute buffet feast of a Hardy, utilizing that combo breaker and popping up into existence right next to the Justina. First Blade's making it even harder for this Yushan to be able to get away. Bane's Breath now out. Allows more spacing to be bought as AS are going to reposition, grab the Soul Bloom. Yang Liang getting a little bit more into the B1 charge for this Justina. There are so many players stacked one on top of the other. If the freeze does come through, this is going to be a smorgasbord for the Justina to be able to find. Xiaolao does get pressured enough to go for the transformation, is biding time for his Justina to hit the ultimate and look to capitalize on the freeze. No grab has been found onto UHL, who's using the cliffs to obscure his line of sight incredibly well. Gets the Karumi Tavern out. He's gonna break immediately. Tianhai out of that ultimate. Scare Rush comes on through from UHL to close up the distance, goes in with the charge vertical on the fan, but here's the Justina going to be coming on through. One freeze has been found. Unfortunately, it is not enough follow-up damage. And as a result, the Tianhai will go down. Wisp now thrown out from UHL, sets up all again. The spacing for the charged vertical on the fan. We might have talked about Aurora Burst and the Hang Sword, but fan still reigns supreme when it comes to weapon identity in both trios and solos.
Yeah. I really wanted to see the Justina, have a silver platter served up, but it still worked out. Going through, but that Moonbane really coming into clutch there in City of Tang, and now we're going to see a Moonbane dropping down towards where Crazy N is hearing, and this is going to be in the north. LYM and that Tianhai ultimate now going to be meter come through crossbows, pistols, everything, you name it. Thanksgiving's coming up, collard greens, everything's coming out to the meal set. If the Tianhai stays in ultimate, if they have enough range shots to make it through and make it past. Now Crazy N takes the engagement going through here. They're going to be having this back line left alone. Elchin can't do anything about this if his team ain't there. There's a Justina, though, for the offensive ability for the double freeze. I see it. He came right back. F1, though, from the Takeda denies it. Forbidden Seal activated to deny anyone else. Takeda is only going to use this for pushback. That's it. Even though he's right there, he's going to go ahead and keep the control here for that team if they want to try to take the push. LYM trying to look to sustain out here after he's backed up for the Karumi. Love can just keep this attached here as long as possible, but no. Goes straight towards offensive route. Goes for that grapple stacker. And maybe looking just for those pod shots. A micro decision making for getting a little bit of poke damage here and there is huge. It's a credential that you can have for your team to make it happen. And doing a little bit more damage than what the enemy team could be hoping to achieve with that. You can see it coming out from Melchi, meaning he gets caught to the parry. The FL is now invested in that dual halberd. It's going to be left behind. We need to make sure this Tianhai does not have a chance of backing off here, because those pistol shots, they count now more than ever. 3 shots, 4 shots. This is why Naraka Bladepoint melee Bladepoint players, not FPS gamers, but listen, he's aiming, he's going for it, he's making sure he's aiming it down the sight. But you know what? Melee wins, he gets the elimination. Now it's up to this team to go back towards those dual halberds. If it hasn't been picked up, I think New B did the good deed of making sure that was on route before that fight had occurred.
They're making sure that they hit that win condition of consistent kills for all stages of the match. This is something that Crazy N's team has been doing the entire duration of the day. And I believe they're already on 6 kills currently going through. So that side is heading back over. We're going to see QNT's Koala trying to escape out of the Dragon Slayers into Niz's setup. Casper not going to be able to reposition in time. Koala with the Scare Rush, with how fast it charges up on that fan, keeping the movement ahead of him. Has to use the combo breaker to be able to escape. Swaps onto the cannon to put a little bit of pressure. Now guides himself. Oh, that was so smart. Drops the Wisp to buy himself the safe spot to charge up the Scale Rush and make sure that no one can interrupt him before he's ready to reposition. Really good stuff coming through from him. Finds an armor reset inside the building as well. Gets the grey armor. Tries to find the Scale Rush over the window. Is going to be able to dodge away from the charged R&B of those halberds. Has bought himself enough time to go for the combo breaker. He's doing a really good job of stalling out for the fight, but he's not getting any of the damage in to be able to turn it or lead these players into another team. So it very much feels like it's just delaying the inevitable. As the pistol shots come through from UHL. My goodness, Koala. Really smart plays coming through from him, but unfortunately, no turnaround in the fight itself.
Yeah, I know. It's like it's a whole team versus one force of nature. And Tang Courtyard, it has some good positions for kiting, especially into that building. He was finding a little bit stuck there. But then having an opportunity to get to the main building would be his best benefit. He tried to make his way towards it. But a whole team using Takeda Ultimate instead. Remember, if you can invest a whole ultimate for a single character, it matters. It's points to be earned. And they can earn it over rates per second over time. Now, off to the case scenario, Roman Yankees going to have WDDH into their combative state. You can see Cats on top of their A game for that. The Matari F2 comes back. Looks like it's dodged. They don't get any heal up back from it. Cat catches that heal. There's gonna be the teleport number 1. We got 4. We have 3 more left. Remember, this is 7/18 patch. This is July 18 patch. This slash teleport number 2. Cat's gonna have to look towards a level 3 swing on a target that is in no motion to be able to go for parry RMB. Teleport number 3. One last teleport finds a Stuma going down here, and then go for Stone Form. The release did not capture it. The F1 investment for Fan Zhao gonna go through. The F2 doesn't capture, but he does close this gap. Goes for pistol shots. Sure it happens. There it is. Parry into that V2 strike. Now it's only up to the way shot from EMO to make it through here. Stars goes down. WDDH, they're going to catch their 5th elimination. They're going to get a purple armor for one of their teammates. They're going to get a gold weapon and weapons across the board. Supplies to be enacted and above, most likely Vermilions. They need to make sure they can catch that scoreboard up because right now, top 5 is going to be on the board for them. At least try to catch to the top 3.
I mean, win condition has been set up, though, for them. They were able to get the 1 purple armor that they need to set the Zai up for. And even though the Matari F2 didn't find the connection, that last time it was still incredibly good in terms of spacing because it pushed the player into the fire tick. Coming on out from that Zai V2, Cat has really been impressing in terms of this Matari pick, not just for when they're able to find the connections on the F2 Frost, but also when they use the pret of the F2 to push these players and zone them into other forms of damage set up by their teammates. As we're going to see Crazy N's team going head-to-head with AS. It is going to be Transformation immediately coming on for Crazy N, immediately going to be dropping that small ultimate to reposition before the Monk grabs can come on out, making sure that they have that full kite path to Ballista Tower if they desire. There is another team, however, on Ballista harassing from a distance, and as a result, both of these 2 players are going to be disengaging and going a separate route. As we can see the musket shots putting pressure onto AS before the Monk transformation is going to come through. Big does get grabbed out, and that is going to mean all of the repeating crossbow comes on down. Unfortunately, no slam has been spotted, as the rest of these players doing a very good job of providing the space to make sure that Exo did not feel comfortable looking for the slam. Instead forces the F1 as he drops out of the ultimate. Immediately does find a huge parry, but the Furin shelves have set the blender into motion. And it is just the tempo. All of the hits that are coming out, all of the strikes are the ones that Big allows past. Those Furin shoves into pole swords. That's Takeda in a nutshell. You can't parry the pole sword if you're staggered by the shove.
Yeah, you know, it's crazy too. I saw AS, they were looking forth and just making sure that Takeda's dealt with taking the blue focus to the back. I mean, it happened once, it happened twice, but there's only so much you can do in the face of danger when you have teammates who kind of deny you from being able to do that. And Tianhai was priority number 1. He was the first one in for the ultimate. His ultimate runs out. He uses F skill immediately upon exiting the ultimate. And then taking that opportunity, Takeda will run him down. You know, just making sure that there's no chance for him to come back into this lively hit split span. But they do have Vermilion Birds about to come back to this game. So when it comes out, AS will hide their other fights. But like you said, winning condition, kind of committed. We got ourselves a 12 kill point lead this round for Crazy N, and they are going to get chased down by Run It Down. You can see that first opportunity, the crossbow, the cluck is coming out for that skin. You can see it, you can hear it, you know where it's coming from. And then they're going to be looking to try to just sneaky be an ambush type based team right now. I mean, ADOT is fighting out with PF against EMO, but like everything comes down towards this Imperial area where they're going to be going into Bloom Castle or opting into the Snow Forest. It's to pick their poison type motif. I mean, ADOT making sure he has common armor. He's looking to upgrade here as soon as possible, but he's rushing himself to a face of danger. He's got no skill yet. He's going to be having up this now, but he has no ultimate. He needs his Soul Bloom. Takes it out here. Gets rolled off on, and has that Soul Bloom for pickup. It's now up to the White Tigers Prowess team. Make sure they can make their means. But Hendrix, gotta love the Lever Tech, getting his team out in the thick of things.
We love the cube, and Adod probably loves the cube right now because that cube saved his life. And it is going to be a reposition coming from the team. As a result, everyone kiting out and away from the path before they start losing that campfire buff. I would love to see the snowstorm come through.
Same.
It really
Love that
does influence, and in fact, how your ultimates get cycled out. It pushes these players into absolute desperation. You see so many ultimates being thrown out, as opposed to the careful cycling that we see in the traditional. As it is now going to potentially be at the turn on for McFlurry Court, a little bit more aggressive than the rest of their team. It'll backtrack and see whether or not you can put a little bit more pressure. Does have that ultimate as well, so that's the reason why we saw the Yushan falling into the position of more aggressive, where his two teammates understand that he can cover for them. Unfortunately, Hendrix has been caught out on Frozen Lake. XGN getting very aggressive. It's going to be Viper F3, not the F2 that Hard has equipped. And it is going to be the V1, so base 5-second stun. Does get hit by the Freeze Butterfly. And as a result, allows Koala to just chip in some damage with that repeating crossbow from on far. Stun enough that XGN actually do not want to try and cross the expanse and look for a fight, because what is this composition set? I was looking at the fight, I did not realize.
Let's get it! I was looking at it with a smirk.
Valda Viper TN high. There is going to be a lot of grab potential setups, but oh my goodness, McFlurry is going to be so vulnerable when you fall out of ultimate. Like, you have to hit your CC. Both on Valda and Viper, there is zero forgiveness chances if you do not manage to find the CC onto players when you're out of Monk ultimate form.
This is for the content. This is for the people. They're in it for the people. This is a wombo. V1 Valda, V1 Viper, and Tien Hai for McFlurry to commit towards the damage. It's gonna be a one-shot ordeal depending on the team comp. If they take this into Romy Yang, I'm gonna lose. Oh, okay. You know what? I ain't gonna look at anything. I didn't see nothing. I didn't see.
They tried, okay? They tried sending out the V1 onto the players looking to go into the realm of Yang. Didn't quite manage to time it. The tide was in rather than out.
Yeah, it's a tough opposition. Try to stop it, the Roman Yang team entering. But this fight's happening. You know, RID, run it down up against the Crazy N squad, and this might be a chance for King. Looking for the ultimate, nicely done. Looking for the jabbing, he gets it, he confirms it. Wait a second, double jabbing, okay, this is a lot of zone form damage. No jabbing's gonna be confirmed off of that. And I think King might be looking for a chance here for the Takeda Fury Blast into a 1.0 release. I think he's just looking for control. Doesn't hit it, but that's okay. We're looking for one last parry in the dream. Gonna be looking to try to knock this one back with a dash LMB to the R&B. Jabbing does not connect there. B, making him very aware that he knows that there's a jabbing wielding staff Takeda into this from Yang, and it's gonna have a gold staff on hand too. So they find this parry. And nothing's going to give them more pleasure than making sure they have a power spike like that one. We're going to see King, though, looking to try to go ahead for B. Dabbing doesn't come out, going for that parry opportunity. It doesn't have to be met, but F1 comes out. There's going to be the whisk throw. There's going to be the R&B release. King could do anything about that. That's all the damage that's coming out from about all sides around him. And even though Crazy N had their Kurumis locked out, it's going to be a 1v2v over there. Now it's a 1v3. And now it's going to be a chance. Slaps, can't do anything. You know, you can't throw blues, normal blues with weapons. Can't do anything about it. So you're gonna go ahead and pull out the palms of your hands. You go, pop! No, nothing can be prepared for that.
Oh, really good stuff coming through from Crazy Ann. Like, they identified, like you said, that that was the Takeda using jabbing, and they did not allow that Takeda to start jabbing into motion ever again. We got to see it, what, 3 times? And then it was just, nope. Takeda does not get any of the setup. They turn full focus, make sure that that soldier does not get to pull out. As it is now going to be XGN coming in with this. Here it is, Viper V1. We're able to find one stun into the repeating crossbow. It is going to be McFlurry now into the Tiantai ultimate as well, but this is what we were talking about is the problem. There is a lot of high burst compositions on the field, and when you forego either the Z-Ping, the Tumult, or the Kurumi, and you're on a TN high composition, you forego any zoning capability. It is going to be a reverb grab onto plan B, so that is going to be the Zai going down. But still, this is going to be a lone TN high outside of ultimate, who is immediately going to go down, and that is going to be the Zyphon just picking up the fallen teammate. Absolutely no care in the world is over in towards Plume, who's got Crazy N's team inside the middle of the Tumult ultimate, looking to find the lockdown, not able to find the kill onto the TN high before the transformation takes place. And as a result, it is going to be a reposition coming on through, so that no grabs are picked up early on in the fight. AS utilizing this to get a little bit of reset coming on out, as it did look like Sangyu was pressured enough that he had to go for a base great armor reset. And as a result, they're just having to hold on to this TN high ultimate as long as they possibly can. The second that it's down, though, the fight is going to pick up anew. Sangyu has been able to pick up and refresh that purple armor that he was rocking previously. But no ultimates on the side of AS means that they are not having any confidence to stick themselves in this fight. So if they are just going to run into another team, divert attention away from them, and reposition.
Yeah, you know, it's crazy too. They come out of the roaming with no ultimates, and yet look at this. They're already on full offensive. I think this might be even necessarily to the point extension that this is the cycle ultimate for big. I like to count it out as it being so, because Draco Storm has a lot of pressure. Lightning Storms for the heal, everything in part with it. It just goes crazy, especially coming off of the board that the Dragon-like Mites in the mix and all that control right then and there puts them in the bind. But look, if anything comes out for Crazy N, right, they're going to dissipate from this fight. They think, okay, maybe this is a little bit too much action right now. I think a lot of players would want to go back towards the Tequila's Gateway, considering of where it's placed and how much goes through. But I think Lanzi said, we'll take that challenge. We'll take that bet. No Ultimate Cicada. This is all for the Draco Storm in the next couple of seconds. It's going to run out. F1's out there. The F3 is in effect. Now the F3 comes out. The burst comp could be a massive switch out here. As you can see, Lanzi having the F2 go through. It's launching New Big into the vicinity of the zone, and he's catching all the heal back from the zone tick damage. So it's not really affecting him much, but it does deny him from being able to regroup with his teammates. He's getting his armor regen before that ultimate, or before the Draco Storm gets run out. F3 is enabled here. As you can see, RID running down. They're going to make their chance here and trying to contest this fight. There's the F1. There's a somersault. There's the arm be released. No parry coming out. The Rampage has come out of the play room, and Kamoka is in a little bit of a bind into the zone. She further goes, having to just really put herself away from all of the action that's happening here and not being able to sustain there to herself, maybe for a couple seconds. Who knows? This escalation ain't stopping that Terrasol. The fact that 50 healing per tick just kept her alive, it's crazy. And everything comes out. UHL gets eliminated, but King, somewhere in the midst, you can recast that Parasol right then and there. There it is. This turnaround could happen right then for the R&B. And now Kamoka could turn this fight around. That Soul Bloom is still on standby. She's at 100%. She's going to switch out the armor because why not? We got time. We got all the time in the world inside of this. No James Bond reference. But, you know, with her, you know, Majesty's Secret Service, time to going through, Kamoka really just came through and clutched up.
Yeah, but Crazy Ann utilized that other team to just get all of the attention off of them. Kamoka being able to hold on to this Kurumi ultimate is absolutely huge when they go head-to-head against Crazy Ann's team, and they were able to actually find a kill onto UHL. So that's another kill in the bag for the team that is prioritizing finding these kills, maybe not finding full team kills, but looking for when the fights happen, getting one kill, and then repositioning and rotating before punishment can come that way. And if a fight looks like it's going to go on too long, or it's going to be potential of having to trade and force ultimates, they reposition, they reconvene, they wait in the wings, they look so that they can punish one of those players that goes a little bit too aggressive, and as a result, it has allowed them so many kills already. That's 16. Yeah, 16 kills, and there's 15 players left in this lobby. Granted, 3 of them are Crazy Ends players, but still, that is insane amounts of kills, and they've been able to lock down one of the players from Run It Down now, who is going to be running Sans UHL, and now Sans King. Takeda grab is going to confirm the movement. King just locks into position, loses the crown almost immediately, and it is just sitting firmly atop Crazy End's head, and it has not moved. This team, consistent Naraka, consistent kills, consistently picking up these compositions that can just pick up these kills at any single stage in the match. Even if they don't make it to final zone serve, they're still going to be in such a good chance of picking up MVP again.
Yeah, they're at 17 again, no Zac Efron, and they're going to be making sure that they can keep that lead and keep as much kills pocketed as much as possible. Now, WDDH, potentially, we could see it happen. Burst Con comes out here from Zyphon. They could find it. Listen, Campfire, they don't have it. They don't got the Campfire buff. So if they go decided into this chill zone, we were making mention about it earlier, the Snowstorm has huge effects, huge repercussions if you don't have the Campfire buff, because you won't be able to rid yourself of the rage loss, which is your ultimate rage, to occur over the course of time. You can see the meter underneath the map when they do enter into the Snowstorm. They'll end up having a loss of or a meter to be increased, and then by that point that the threshold has met, they're going to start losing rage so fast, they're not going to be able to realize it. Now, of course, Cat makes their way going through. I gotta make a name for myself here, yeah? And of course, if Cat decides to go fourth in looting up, they can find an upgrade to give Plan B the upper advantage for armor. I mean, purple armor right in here now for her, for Plan B, I should say, as a Zai. It's great. Not necessary. because she is, invulnerable to most forms of damage while she's in her F state, but it will be a good benefit towards mitigating in case of anything from the Xiphon against a Sand Siphon. Now, QNT want to take their fights against Crazy N on top of this hill over to the Altar of Tranquility. Hendrix left alone in the dust. We get Grapple Stagger. There it is. I see it. The hunt. F2.
Oh, the Frost!
That's it. 18 elimination. No, not 18 elimination, I should say. They're taking 11 eliminations from this point. Stealing it out here, AS is going to try to see about any poke against them, but they're not going to have enough time. They're repositioning themselves away from this fight. In the meantime, Crazy N, man, they like to go crazy in here. With his R&B, there's going to be the chance for the release, and Kishi's in ultimate status. There's going to be a back off, find the nearest rock, and crouch. And obviously, reposition. Because now that the Moonbane's in here, this is going to be a whole switch up to the player. What's going to be anticipated.
Oh, we're using the current shoves to keep everyone inside the Bane's Breath.
Yep. I was gonna say, you get a reposition towards it.
Repositioning everybody into the AoE. PP Love has gone down in the meantime though, so no Kurumi Tether on the table to be able to bring some of these players back. Pure and Shove into the AoE, into potentially jabbing. Won't be able to find it until just now gets the jabbing onto the Z-Ping. Casper does go down. Unfortunately, that does mean that Big gets positioned into the Ultra Wisp. Does still have a shove, will be able to keep everyone off of him. No punishment onto the Decatur, but it does mean, with the fight being taken, that PP Love does burn out, so no Kurumi gets brought back. Big going to activate in with that F, make sure that you can't throw blues into him. Runs directly past QNT's hiding spot. They don't know that there's a player directly behind them. Goes in towards the zone, wants to get a little bit of resources, potentially. As Kishi is not doing anything to blow his cover currently. As we get to see Blistering Edge Knight coming out from Cat with that pole sword. Kurumi going to get the armor circle recast to make sure that that still allows all of the protection and health tick for the players residing within, as this Kurumi is just getting so much pressure. Pole sword into fan charge vertical follow-up. And that is Kamoka going down incredibly quickly. They do get one of their players grabbed up, however, and it is going to be the Kurumi, which means no potential tether attachment to buy yourself the 4 seconds to survive the landing. And Cat, just before they can break across the top of that cliff, gets hit into by the grab into follow-up Justina Freeze. And we do see DC RKK managing to live long enough, hits in with the ultimate, gives Cat that second life that we've talked about. We're now going to be down to 7 for the Matari, make that 0! The zone tick, unfortunately, clips the Matari's wings, and it is going to be 8 players left in this lobby. Pure and Shoves still on the board. Big has 2 of them, make that 1 of them. He's utilizing it to buy all of the spacing, pushing these players onto the buttery rock so that they can't use those combos and cleanly disengage when the pulse on follow-up and Pure and Shove comes through. Huge parry, catches onto 2 players, but the Zai V2 makes it a little bit harder for Big to keep themselves as aggressive as they want to. Comes in with the grapple into horizontal, putting pressure on the Zai before repositioning forces. The F3, are we going to see any of these teams try and control the Spirit Well to get the ultimates immediately refreshed? Big not able to find the pulse on hit. Gets knocked off a bit by that Tianhai F1. Kishi goes down in the interim, but no one picked up the Soul Bloom! Big is able to find another Soul Bloom and gets the ultimate online yet again. Fury and Shove setting up the charged R&B follow-up on this pole sword. There is no way that the Soul Bloom find saves Crazy N's game yet again. Pole sword grapple sets up for the Dragon-like Might follow-up from B, and this is Crazy N running the lobby a 5th time in a row.
Man, New Vegas sees the rotations and he's lining up like a zip line, man. He's going straight shot. Cross. He might be caught here by the dash LMB, but then he's going to charge the horizontal release and goes ahead, gets caught to the double parry, and that's going to be the elimination. But, and they pick up eliminations off the end. They got themselves 23 kills. And we still at the top 2. Did we just lose Nunu to the zone? Yes, we did, but does it matter at this stage? Not really. This is the end of the game. This is round 5's and exits. And now the catch up for first place.
There is still the ability for the players that killed you to pick them up, and as a result, we saw like a lot of players fighting in Arcadia for a reason. That being said, we're going to see a lot of players fighting almost immediately off of the rip. In fact, QNT are going to be losing Casper near immediately as AS able to find a lot of repositions within themselves, find the numbers and the staggers necessary. Yang Liang coming in with those dual blades, gets jump parried by Kishi, who's just able to catch it at the tail end of that animation. Will be able to find the punishment. And now it's going to be Xiaolao and Koala going head-to-head. Fist Blades versus Spear. And in a solos matchup, Fist Blades getting to come out a little bit faster, and their animation is always going to give them a huge advantage.
Yeah, getting his first set of eliminations over at Grizzly Rise. Now it's up towards the City of Tong with PF up against RID. Run it down. Now, of course, Numza just trying to keep as much shadow steps as possible. Goes for that blue focus for the 1.0. He's going to go ahead for it again. He's like, hey, listen, what if I do it the third time? What are you going to do about it, huh? 1, 2, 3s. And now Numza in the position where this Matari is ripe for the picking, to his knowledge, perhaps. Goes for the crouch, gets the uppercut. That's going to be a huge surplus. He's about to get his ultimate ready for his team fight that Hendrix is having still with ADOT. And now, of course, while they look towards the chase, right down Kamoka, making sure that that purple armor is nice and tidy with herself, that zipping Ying, though, that's going to keep that regen mobile with the F1 building most likely. Now, of course, purple fist blades now in the hands of the Takeda. So, like you said, this is a great chance for them to have some win condition on board for them, especially up against any other Fiend teams in the future, because right now it's a chase for this one elimination, but that's purple armor they can give the Hendrix. And that right there would be an onslaught of sustain coming through here. With everything coming out, Mocha making the moves, making it happen. You know how zippings go, even in solos, right? You know that's the most detrimental side of things, where solos zippings and they can just ride around with no problem. And of course, they can try to capture her out, maybe a grapple stagger or two. There it is. Goes for jump LMBs. You can see it now. It's V1. Now it's a lot of heal. Now it's definitely heal. This is the Kata Fury and ultimate. I'm okay with that for them. So you know what? You hit me up anytime. We can play duos anytime for that one. Getting the elimination with the ultimate investment needed to do it. And it's going to have to be had.
We're getting to see the XGN composition with the Valda, the Viper, and the Tian Hai. Yet again, this time they're going to be putting pressure onto WDHH. It is going to be Fan on the board for this Valda. There's the V1. Wave manages to sweep up 2. It's going to be the Wombo combo. This is the classic of the duos Naraka competition. Valda V1 into Viper V1 into all of the follow-up. And it is now going to be that Valda utilizing the F3, manages to find the connection into the Gust follow-through. Both players flashing the red on the Fan. Are we going to get to see the crouch hold check cancels coming through in the 1v1? We haven't seen it just yet. As Oni is not getting hold checked. Cancels out of the charged vertical animation, force the horizontal just to make sure that the Huddy has not been able to reposition. Potentially grab one of those soul blooms as it's a Fan versus Fan. We know that those fights can go on incredibly long. We'll be cutting over instead to look at a QNT potentially versus AS as it is going to be Oni.
We're back, let's go!
Getting pulled back gets enough damage to get another Valda V1. Doesn't manage to find the kill, however, as it is going to be the Fan parried out of his hands. It took us cutting back to another team entirely, but it is going to be WDDH. Eventually walking away with the fight win, and as a result, they're going to be the ones that get to hold on to their revives and get their players back by sticking the reds.
You know why he won is because of the fist blades. You know, I'm sorry. Thing also to note is that I noticed that XGN did it, but the thing is they didn't activate the Tianhai ultimate, and I'm kind of curious as to why. Because you know, you're understanding that it's a wombo combo. You all in. It's a good case scenario. No matter what, if you catch only 2, that means there's a third holding on for R&B focuses, and that was the case scenario that we just saw. But alas, decisions were made. Didn't really cut test for it. It's gonna happen, and it happens. Alright, number 11 though with AS. They're over towards the Imperial Village, making their way from the west side entrance, catching through the gate, seeing what they can kind of muster here. They got 5 eliminations on the board so far, so doing so well in terms of the gold department as it stands. You know, we're looking at 21,000 gold, maybe 2,200 if we're really rounding it up. QNT in near vicinity over towards the Boomerang Cliff, you know, or the Yushan Ruins, I should say. They're making sure they can just try to get as much as they can in terms of the Fireflies if they haven't been able to make it there just yet, in order to get Koala's ultimate as well as with Kishi. Now, of course, supplies, not the greatest moment, but this is why we're here. We're making sure we can come through. And guess who's here? EWG. And they already take the Fireflies most likely. You see APF with a purple weapon on standby. He could have an opportunity to see these guys off of the bridge line, but they're catching the high ground. Ultimates are completely ready for the Xiphon comp. BWG Raven looking to try to go ahead and be in the front line with everything, but APF is like, nah, I'm going to take this fight in my own hands. Boom, bow shot, boom, bow shot. Doesn't get the second one, you know, but he does going to go look for it and making sure he can regroup with his teammates. UNT as a whole, they're getting really, you know, notch heavy with those range shots from the distance and looking towards using the cannon shots as well. When Tryhard, he's a Zai, he's got the purple armor, he's got the sustain for the team in terms of damage being dealt and control to be had when things get a little bit more grim if that team decides to push in.
Still, no full engagement coming through from either of these teams currently. As this is one of those locations where there are a lot of hallways, a lot of rooms. You don't always realize that there are teams coming in onto your flanks. Before it's too late and you get third-partied, the spacing is a lot more open here though, as A-Dot sends out the Wisp, tries to grab those players, hits in with the ultimate, catches the slow onto the Viper. The follow-up pressure is incredibly strong. As a result, comes through with the pulse out, breaks the boxes. McFlurry forced into utilizing that Tianhai ultimate early on. Remember, this is the Volda, Viper, and Tianhai team, not a traditional composition that you would see. One grab has been found. A-Dot with the pulse sword, putting pressure onto the Volda to make sure that she can't just sit in the musket and shred the health bar of whoever has been grabbed, allowing McFlurry to convert one grab into one potential kill. Pulse sword finds the connection. There's the Viper ultimate coming on through. It is the V1. So A-Dot will be able to reposition underneath the cliff face and avoid that stagger. Hits in with the pole hood. And that focus strike. Volda going to be trying to buy the spacing flashes. The red. Namza has gone down in the interim. Karumi ultimate now comes on through. Good dodge from the Tumultuous. Unfortunately, one does get swept up by the Volda V1. A-Dot now having to turn on to the Tianhai with those nunchucks. Going to be put into a 1 versus 2. Potentially, the Takeda finds the grab onto the Volda. A-Dot doing a very good job of keeping the players off of Namza long enough for the Takeda to come in with that mythic grab. And as a result, when we go back into the sustain and the neutral, unfortunately, the Volda, Viper, and Tianhai just don't have enough good abilities, not combo breakers, to sustain through all of the damage that Sand Siphon can just continuously output.
Yeah. And it's just a lot of forces at hand, and just like that, we're looking towards crazy end. 6 eliminations, taking the victory lap. But they're still going to try to take the best opportunity of performing at their optimal level. Of course, that's the way the game is played. Ishii taking his chance over here, though, taking a jump and taking the LMB from, or horizontal, from the way Sean strikes. He's getting denied entry into this ravine, and that's a red that's coming out here as Koala is making it through, staying alive. Seeing the Hottie ultimate, seeing the Arrow Mech comp coming out to play. 37% is not going to have an ultimate ready for this. This is going to be a Romy Yang spawn as well. So whether or not QNT stays put for this fight for the next minute or so or less, we could see the opportunity for Crazy N to just take out this team potentially. But while it goes down again, another elimination coming in from the Hottie from PP Love. As it comes out, we could see an opportunity. There is a Bell knockback. All right, we're turning around for the whole check, right? Nope, not going to happen. R&B Blue Focus comes out, and that's going to be the connection. Ishii goes down. So got Casper looking for the reses here, but Crazy Ann has around 8 eliminations now. We got Romy Yang spawning in. The teams are playing this one. We're going to see BWG up against All Sad here in Romy Yang #1.
Zyth in composition. Tryhard goes aerial with that pulsar, charging up the R&B. Unfortunately gets interrupted before he can find any follow-up. Hits into with the cannon for the scare rush now. Onto that pillar. No ultimates in play. The first of the F3 comes on through into the activation of that V2. That is a Z-Ping ultimate. It's not going to be able to cleanse the fire tick. Rats, as a result, eats the full damage of the burn and goes down. Tryhard doing such a good job. Finds the uppercut onto Maduji. Will be able to keep up the pressure the second that they get pushed into the space as well. Into the fire tick. Golden frame focus into the F3 Raven. Going to be making sure that the armor circle comes on out from this team, so that if Tryhard gets pushed into it by the Zyre on the other team, he will get pushed back into all of the armor recovery. And BWG, nice clean fight, punishing the fact that it was a Karumi versus a Z-Ping for all of the reasons that we have listed. When you have a Siphon composition and Karumi can cleanse, you just get such a head start in the ultimate investment.
That's right. And now we're going to look into the other Romy Yang here. WDDH having to go ahead with DCRKK in the Hottie ultimate. Looking to try to contest towards XCG. Of course, we've seen these guys fight, or RID, I should say. We can see these guys are fighting to the utmost potential and using the ultimate and teleporter. And going to be going ahead and trying to loot out the box. You're going to have a full purple armor squad, a gold weapon on standby. Try hard, though. Surface pass position here from BWG and going towards Ice Shard Lake, hitting the bell rotation here. You can see it. I don't know why you're flaming in, but that's okay. You know what? You know, context is key. We're going to see that chance for them to kind of take the fights to Quarry, though, as our next set of engagements. WDDH outside the Romy Yang, Lever Tech involved. DCRKK, look at it. Not going to kick to anybody, but he is looking for it. So kind of total for the attempt here. F2 investment from this points. DCRKK looking to try to go for the LMBs, and again, just charging up RMBs for the kick. There he goes. He punches once. 10. The Temi ultimate could be utilized here, and that teleporter is at a best case scenario position. There it is. High ground spot. Having to reposition, getting a reset. A cannon shot though, which is this whole fight around EMO coming into play for a third party. Cat is inside that Fairy-Shen mech, trying to defend her teammates for the escape. But of course, DCRKK runs to the face of danger, having to worry about whether or not he's using F2 here or not. There's a parry. There's going to be a hit. Into the double hit. There's going to be a crouch LMB. Looking at whether or not the Takeda ultimate's going to come out here. There's another ultimate in 3 percentile points for DCRKK because Plan B, he needs it. There's going to be the V3, though, coming in from the Viper. There's going to be a whole turnaround between every single one of these teams. Vermilion's burned out here for Plan B, and then the stagger comes out. That's going to be giving us a Soul Boom. That way we can just go ahead and pop this one out and go straight to offensive position. Knock out this, Wu Chen out of the game. Estoma goes down. Gonna go for a level 2 swing, level 3 swing. Hendrix is anticipated if he dodges, but he gets caught by the RMB blue focus. RKK. Oh, gonna have to take that teleporter very soon, my boy. And there he goes. Right back into flight form, and still has a little bit of chance of going on the offensive duty here against Numza.
That being said, it is against a Takeda with a Karumi Tavern. As a result, the health bar barely dips, even with the connection of the triple charge stick of that Hardy ultimate. And yeah, there it is. The team with the Karumi wins the sustain overall. Hendrix doing a very good job of keeping his health and his Takeda alive through 2 different teams that tried to contest these players. Adod should be able to come back into the mix as well shortly, as we are going to see the bell being rung just to get a little bit of information before Adod utilizes that Vermilion Bird Smite and revives to regroup with the rest of his team. 23 players alive in this lobby. We can see that BWG are actually battling RID currently. There's Tryhard's F3 trying to find the connection, sends the other Zai into the air, setting up for other damages to come through from his teammates before dropping to the low ground and trying to catch them. Unfortunately, RID had the exact same idea. Both of the Zais looking to utilize that fire cone and connect onto the teams when they went for the drop down. Tryhard not able to find the uppercut, puts himself onto the staircase and takes so much damage from the other Zai cone as a result. We are going to see Run It Down managing to fell Tryhard. Now it turns into a numbers advantage for the Zyphon composition. Pole form is going to just be absolutely minced. All of the armor, there's nothing Raven can do. 3 players just battling the entirety of his health down in the animation of stone form. He cannot send it out, otherwise they would just look for the immediate punishment parry. And it is just going to be clean up. APF hugs the corner instead of the wall, so they go past him and he's able to get a little bit of damage off, as well as potentially set up some skill rushes from these walls. Gets a little bit of an isolated fight, 1 versus 1 before Run It Down are able to find that reset moment and now come in. He will be able to find 1 kill, utilizes the Matari F2 to reposition, and has lived long enough for Raven to come back into the mix with that Karumi 7 on to Tryhard to set up the aggressive rerun it back, and BWG from beyond the grave claw their way back to the surface and find their revenge.
Yeah, they came back. Tryhard had the final seconds on the Vermilions and proccing it, and then coming back at the most opportune moment. And then 8 eliminations for BWG there. Now, Crazy Yen, a little bit of a different position. 8 eliminations were on the last teammate. It looks like EF are making sure that this team gets eliminated on. They themselves have 13 eliminations at a superseded lead right now in terms of the kill leaderboard. Both shots going through. I can't. You want to go ahead and try to go for the Wild Haymaker. It's 1080, 2160, 4K resolution filtered HD spin attack move. You can see it coming in from the Fairy-Shen for 1999. Of course, you knew Big knows exactly what the dealio is. It's going to be soloed out here, and it's going to be solo roll into that play. Fireworks. Day 1. Gasp. Knocks your socks off. They're going to be going out here and chilling in the lobby, looking to see where the other players are standing through. But PF, they're going to earn themselves 14 eliminations as a result, and now it's time to go to Realmy Yang.
Question is anyone going to risk it?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
or
21.
Are we just going to see the third-party attempts? I mean, the Viper composition definitely wants to look for the third party, especially with Fanjar running the V3 rather than the V1. Is there going to be an opportunity for EMEO to be able to take it, though? Or are they just going to have to hope that they can find the loot upgrades on the open map? As this is a team that is full running with blue weapons and blue armor. In the meantime, we do have WDDH, who have put themselves inside the realm of Yang. They will get challenged at the last possible moment by LYM. Is that one person on LYM's team?
Maybe.
Oh no.
Perhaps.
I think that's a 1 versus 3. It's just gonna be you. One player versus 3. Will you be able to take anyone down? Cat clearing the angle, making sure that this is indeed, yes, just the one. As you does have the Matari, might be able to make something work, sets up the F2, finds the connection. But this is just, yeah, we're just seeing the F2 thrusts, the attempted teleports coming through, the skirmishes off of the pillars. Could serve this is so mean. It's just the slaps!
Turn the other cheek. All right, we're done. I can't.
Oh, we're missing the glove. That's all we're missing.
Oh my goodness, you know what? You're right.
That being said, WDDH have sort of leaned into it until now. Celebratory Yushin Ultimate doesn't matter, you'll get it back when you exit the portal.
Or they get Draco Storm. Wow. Or they get Draco Storm. Come on, do it for the me. Oh, well, content to be continued. We're gonna have to double check and see about that later on, ladies and gentlemen. Doo-doo monster. I'm joking, that's A-Dot. He's gonna go ahead and get his parry off of his ends. Lanzi, Zeta going down here. Grapple Stagger is clean. Gonna be looking to try to go for the uppercuts. This is F1 Wuchen, so as long as he can throw an F, he's in blue focus state. Catching his mindset with a tether with the Kurumi, knows that he won't take any damage. The teleport, though, is going to be taken by Hendrix to get himself out of danger. He's at 200 to 300 HP. Taking all things into consideration, that's a Kurumi you want to take rid of right now. If she's at low enough, if she gets frozen, that's it. Casper gets sees a kill off of Hendrix, and it's going to be had for QNT as they go ahead and rotate over to the northwestern side of this cave. A-Dot making his way towards, I don't know if he knows, but there's a party number 5 there, Ellie's team. Lanzi specifically with party number 5, just chilling out over there, and LYM's U. Solo, Rolo, Dolo, into Romy Yang too, having to be coming back for his team to try to make sure. In the meantime, though, BWG take their fights against WDDH, and this is a fresh White Tiger's prowess buff they're taking through. This is a good fight that's going to happen here in a moment. F3 cost for the engagement, the R&B swing, the knockback from the from the Fairy Shen Beacon to die for it. R&B slings coming out here since Tryhard looks for the F3. He's looking to disengage instead. Can't take this fight against a Fairy Shen in close quarters combat, but that Forbidden Seal, that was his main objective the whole time. Hold a sneaky on you, because everything comes down here. When that Fairy Shen was supposed to be staying there, he knew exactly Cat had a third eye. Of course, if everything comes out for DCRKK, this pelts come through, he can connect 3 R&B blue focuses here. And Raven's taking every single one of these pelt shots coming through here, Mox. Yep.
Forbidden Seal is no Spirit Well, which means that Fairy Mech is still able to find the damage for the shiny. Tryhard gets the Kurumi Tether, utilizes that Hang Sword to keep himself positioned far enough away. There's the Armor Circle that Raven was able to cast now that they're out of the Forbidden Seal. Tryhard coming on through with that Hang Sword, unfortunately just takes so much damage almost immediately. The recast now going to be spent. Cat with the Yushan using the Spear Staggers to push all of BWG out of the Kurumi Ultimate. Zoning. No more Armor Circle. Potentially Kurumi Tether for Raven to be able to reposition, get set up onto Tryhard. Should be teleport repositioning any moment now. He's keeping the Yushan occupied for as long as possible. That's Cat's ultimate. Going to be run through, and now Raven doesn't have the tether to be able to reposition. He's going to be caught against the Pole Sword versus Pole Sword. Woo! Raven able to find a huge parry into the punishment. Gets grapple locked onto before he can try to reposition. And the Hardy as well as the Farrier just immediately get the punishment. Plan B coming on through with that drop. And Raven might have found the parry, but he's not able to find the kill.
He's too dangerous to be left alive. You know, it's everything that we, see. We see the pulsar parry. He's like, all right, now he's got to go. Cannon shot from Plan B, though. Finishes the job. APF still in the game for BWG. And they have themselves 8 eliminations. Kind of working this one out here to try to make sure they can hold on for with the second place position. We do see that WDDH 13 eliminations. QNT have 5 themselves, a Wuchen port to push out between AS into the northern side, but a Tianhai ultimate from Kishi as he's trying to propel forces of nature between the fence wall south of them and all the other fights that could potentially be happening. WDH could look at this for a third party. I see it. I see the opportunity there, but APF gets singled out. That's it. BWG is gone for this round so far today. QNT, though, still trying to make it come through here with 6 eliminations into this game. We do have WDDH are just keeping that kiting going through in the eastern side. You can see it. They're waiting. They're waiting to the teams to leave out Serpent's Pass so they can easily ambush them.
That's the
not enough for contention. There's the F1 too. And Mold Circle connects. That's going to be the Whisk connection. And of course, Cat I don't know what we're gonna do here. You see an R&B release. There it is. 1-2s, and maybe catch Koala out here for elimination. The F3 comes in clutch here, though. Big time. There's gonna be that hit. Koala goes down. Sobel will pick up from BCRKK as he's able to go through. Looking to see who's left in the zone. No one. Okay, cool. We're gonna go ready to push into the skit lake. We're gonna see Kishi. We're gonna make sure we can go through with this, and making sure we can lock down this various shed. And of course, TCRKK getting caught right then. He's not leaving out of the fight, but a parry like that with an F bill like that, not fun. There's going to be that free circle comes out. Bow shot to the bow shot. Double hit with the blistering edge. Might be a good chance for this team AS to back off for just a couple of seconds before they get themselves right back into a tassel here, Moxie.
Ooh, keep her on that blistering edge. That is going to be doing work to any team that hasn't been able to afford the Kurumi pick. Especially for these Aeromecha compositions who rely on the Farrier. It is going to be LYM, who still have you, but also have been able to get their Zai back into the mix, unfortunately. It's not going to be the Kurumi for that vein of sustain. We are going to see the V2 being invested to buy LYM a little bit more space and leeway to be able to work with, given the fact that there are so many of these teams out on Frozen Lake currently. Elching and you both still on blue armor. And you can see Elching just very reluctant to keep in a fight. You will be able to find the kill onto Casper, which should be at least one bit of loot upgrade coming through from them, but it's going to be WDDH with so many Darktide coins who are going to be putting themselves to one of those dealers and starting to shop for some of those sought-after Soul Jades of Destiny. Are we going to see the Dragon's Roar? For the nunchucks on the Hardy, have not been able to see whether or not the meter is refilling naturally. We'll have to wait and see and keep an eye on that one, as it is going to be the purple armor that you was able to pick up from Casper that is gone now. Onto the Matari. Charged L and B off of that dagger, looking for the uppercut connection. It's going to be 2 versus 1. This is the ideal fight that LYM needed. They were able to find 2 kills. One onto QNT's Casper, and then onto Kishi. Isolated players that they can lock down very, very quickly by their lonesome. Potentially find some of those upgrades. Unfortunately for them, Kishi's armor was not at the same upgrade that it was on for Casper, so it's still blue to blue for this team. As we can have a look at Adod's team. Adod taking a lot of poke damage, getting that Kurumi Tether to be able to reposition, throws out the list to buy themselves a little bit longer over time as WDDH keep up the pressure. Numza taking a little bit more of an aggro position with that. Takeda has the ultimate in case the team needs to use those Furin shoves. And connect onto WDDH to buy their Kurumi and that Tumult the opportunity to come back into those F ability cooldowns. Get now pushed into another team entirely. Forbidden Seal also in the mix. AS have not been able to rotate directly on top of it. Adod with that Tumult might well want to activate it so that his ultimate can stay up, but no, it looks like with the 2 teams being in the position that they were, one in front, one behind, this team just decides to full reposition. Even the lure of Forbidden Seal letting that Tumult ultimate still control that space is not enough to keep them positioned where the fight is going down.
It's going to be a final circle through then the Moonbane 10 players. Wuchen 4 preempted. Very nice. Of course, going to try to look towards Insane, WDDH. You know, they got a god tier armor gear set up and everything in the nature, but 14 eliminations here with 10 players still alive. 7 against the odds for them is what's going to be coming through here. We're going to see a stagger between PF and trying to lock down through with R&Bs. They're going to lock down Xiaowei from Lanzi. That's going to be their 16th elimination. Mind you, this is going to be the highest kill leader squad so far. When we take these, we take those. And of course, V1 to Mulch. She's going to come in clutch here for that 16 seconds rather than, you know, if it's V2 for 14. Obviously, the energy deduction coming from an enemy timing is one thing, but in this final circle, duration is king. And of course, with the Moonbane, you know, Moonbane's king. You know, we know that. But the thing about it is, if they keep their noses, you know, too much pride into the circle, they could take a strike to the face and having to burn through armors as a result.
That's a Firefly cage.
Yeah.
That's a Firefly cage that has still got Firefly charge. And as a result, you can see it is directly in between Num's team and WDDH. No one wants to give that one up for free. It is going to be, I believe, just out of final zone. As WDDH do have that blistering edge to keep an eye on, especially given the fact that they're positioning themselves onto that cliff where players are going to have to grapple directly into them to challenge it, and as a result into all of the fire tick burn. Spirit Well's going to be spawning up in a little bit too, so a lot of these players are going to be contesting that space. AS keeping themselves hidden away, wanting to go for the third party. There are only 3 teams that are going to be left, and all of them have full player numbers. As a result, no one's going to want to be the ones that kick things off. Everyone is going to want to prioritize the third party. WDDH now getting slowly pushed off of that high ground by the zone, creeping closer in, are going to be exerting more pressure onto ADOD's team. As a result, now pushed onto the low ground, almost entirely no ultimates still utilized, as AS just waiting to see if they can find a third party against this team. They've got the Xiphon composition, remember, it is going to be Aeromek and Xiphon versus, I do believe, Sand Xiphon. That Num's team are going to be running 3 different compositions, all of which only get stronger when the zone fully collapses in, and all of these players get pushed one on top of the other. For the Takeda, for the Zai, for the Hardy, there is so much knockback, but the thing is, Aeromek runs the Yushan, which means health reset potential for Cat, the thing that is not afforded to some of these other teams. Spiritwell now spawns on up. Are we going to see the ultimates invested by a team that thinks that they can control the spacing? Looks like WDDH aren't even going to try and risk it. They just let it slip into their fingers a little bit longer, figuring out whether or not AS are looking for that third-party opportunity. Are they close enough? Are they going to jump onto this team? If they apply pressure onto the Spiritwell, they're utilizing the fact of going into the Spiritwell stops AS from being able to swap into the ranged weaponry and try and steal some of these kills on the outside. Smudge ultimate now going to be invested. Variamek as well going to be invested early on from Plan B. This is when AS starts to close up the distance, make their move, and find the punishment. We've seen the charged vertical coming out from the fan. Teleport now going to be called into play. DCRKK managing to reposition as the kill has come on through. Numza with the pole sword, charging up the scale rush. Doesn't find the connection, has 1 Fury and Shove left to his name. Spiritwell still has not been captured. Anyone who's able to pick this one up is immediately going to get their ultimate regenerated, and there it is! Nums is able to pick it up and gets the ultimate activation. We go back to 4 shoves to the Takeda. Gets the Karumi Tether to get all of the aggressive positioning to start pushing these players between himself, the pulse and the corruption 6 damage. And Numza with the huge big brain play of picking up that buff and getting the ultimate, is immediately getting to regain all of the tempo. Has to worry about the Xiphon composition, throws out the blistering edge, make sure that they don't get to sit in all of the sustainers, buying his Karumi, the spacing to hit the tether onto Aidod and bring the Smudge back into the mix. The Zai tries to come through with the V2 stagger, does not manage to cancel the revive in time. Aidod is back into the mix and we go back into a 3 versus 3. Skater ultimate now has run on out. Numza goes in, up onto the aerial to hit into the Mythic grab and try and obscure the fact that he was casting it. Keeps himself off of the ground for as long as possible. Has got 11 grapples and is just going to continue to do this until the zone fully collapses or he's below a plane can send the vertical. The Zai ultimate lasting a little bit longer but is going to be burning out any moment now as Numza gets hit into by the charged vertical on that fan. Meteori ultimate comes into play but Blistering Edge is going to be able to buy himself the spacing of the players in front of him. He doesn't have to see them, he just has to hit them with the fire tick. But unfortunately it's not enough. The Karumi sustain and the Meteori ultimate means that unfortunately all of the damage AS is doing immediately converts into health, and AS are able to walk away with the win. What a play from Numza with the Takeda, but it is not enough. That Meteori
in terms of that round, their champions are going to be crazy N. Nunu Big, BB Love, and Nunu B making it through for today in the summer NA trios. And that it's going to be a 200 points they earn towards Shadow Day Cup.